Whatever. I was going to do a little silly thumbnail for that, but I guess not. Oh, jeez. Goddamn. Well, that's always great. That's just always fun. That's always fun. There we go. There we go. Just tune this camera. I thought it's got that happen. Oh. There we go. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to turn these pants into shorts. They're gonna be little punk shorts, I guess. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey, what the fuck? Huh? What the fuck? Hey. What the fuck was that about? Fucking earbud just like turned itself on randomly. That was bunk, bro. Like, what the fuck? Oh, the sweet little pup. Sweet little pup. Just a sweet dog indeed. Oh, yeah. Actually, let me do this real quick here. Do a little shit around here. Oh, there we go. Swoop. Ah, goodness gracious. Definitely feel a lot more rejuvenated in comparison to the last night being up as long as it was. But I had a nice, good, amazing sleep. I won't say that much. Let's get this cleaned down here. Get a little fresh bowl going, all that fun. There we go. I want to get some more of the bud loaded up in this dish too. Actually, look at my jars in order. Just do this. Oh no, the last one. We got a bud down. You need to get it. Pump vac to pick that up. Get over here. Yeah. Oh, you're a tiny little guy. You can go right there. It's my other jar. Boom. I'll get this one loaded up. Ooh. Sweet. There we go. It's ready to go. Get after this bolt. There we go. I'll change that a little bit. For sure, that one's a little more strict on the copyright, unfortunately. Still need to like figure out which ones are which, but I kind of narrowed down at least a few of them, so hopefully those are not on there anymore. As much as I want them to. I need to find my lids. I know I have this one or somewhere. Those lids just go flipping, flopping, messing around or something. Oh. Just kind of fell off on me down here. That's only one of them. Well, where the other one go? They got one, where would the other? It's around. It'll be fine. It's just hiding somewhere. Oh, wait. Wrong jar. It's this jar. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Over there, too. Fill this up a little more. There we go. That's my main boost for now. Ooh. Hey, get back here, little shit. Bam. Oh, there's another lid. Sweet. I should go see the bigger jar. Oh, it's missing the other lid. There's one more lid, and I do not know where the fuck that went. Huh. That'll turn up. It's not that big of a deal anyway. If anything, we'll just use this as our main little jar for now. Where's the cup go? Is he exploring the damn... Okay. He was just eating his food. Sweet little fire. What a goofy little doggo. What a goofy little doggo. So now I got some more stuff to grind up here and all that shit. I don't really have much of a topic for today either. Just more or less just kind of coming in for, just for vibes and shit. Kind of see where it goes for a little bit. Usually the first little chunks of these things tend to be pretty slow as fuck anyway. And actually, now I realize, because I know, at least, for one of my buddies, YouTube won't let me, or let him be subscribed, so should probably at least, get his answer in here if he hasn't yet. Just one momento. Okay, that should work. That should figure all that shit out now. Whoop, whoop, whoop. No. Don't be stupid there. There we go. Cool. Talking to a lady who looked like a Queen of England and smelled like Worcester sauce MC. Is there a backstory to that? Whoa. Queen of England and smelled like Worcester sauce? Whoa. I missed something? Oh, shit. Sweet. No, I was at the store, all of a sudden started smelling like Worcester sauce, and I looked up to see this old lady dressed like a British person. Oh shit. Oh my god. Well, that's the backstory to it, though. I mean, I want to know. It didn't even smell bad, just fresh Worcester sauce. Was it just some random manifestation of just a British woman just there? Like, cause what the fuck? Damn. Maybe. I mean, who knows, dude? At least for me, I almost had like a 24-hour night. Not even gonna lie. Because like, I ended up chilling and chat with him, and the whole game from last night too. After I came back home and had one more burger, and it was excessive. And it being long, Shirley Taylor also sounds about British. Old people at a certain point have distinct smells, but for British people, there's only one distinct smell that their old people have, and it's Worcester sauce. Also, I slept a long ass time. Yeah, dude, same here today. I woke up around 1:30, and I took a nap until 2:30. Because I woke up and I was like, still a little worn out. I'm gonna stretch a little bit, just kind of hang out here for a minute, and I was like, took a nap, woke up, I was like, oh yeah, D5 Friday's doing their podcast, so I was tuned into that and just kind of started, but slowly but surely getting myself up. But all in all, it's a good little lazy day. Man, you should also see my dog when I came home. He went literal fucking ape shit. He went psycho mode when he saw me today. It was insane. It was just like, bruh. This bastard though. He's a cute little thing, but oh my god, he went nuts. Even when I woke up this morning, he was like literally right here in my face, just like, it's like, you're here. It was insane, dude. I don't blame the little sleep boy, but oh my goodness, he was nuts. Also, at least glad that it sounds like Jassie's doing pretty good. I was kind of telling Logan about she just needs to take it easy and just have her easy rest days, and it seems like even he agrees. It's like, yeah, just let her take it easy and just kind of chill for a little bit, and she'll be fine. Poor little thing. It's like happier than a pig of shit, but she's just like, I have an injury and I don't like it. Poor little thing. I like the little attempt of having little booties, like little dog shoes on her, with those little bags. So goofy, and she did not like him at all. Did we ever find out it ultimately finally grabbed that sausage? Because I'm pretty sure it might have been Logan, but I didn't ask him yet. Because I just want to make sure the sausages were secured. That's all that matters to me. What are you doing over there, Pup? What you doing over there? What are you getting into? Goofy little shit. But, anyhow. Let's see what like little things are for like kind of political for today. Kind of think. Actually, I do kind of know of one because actually kind of pertains to Paul because he's been going for like some insane bullshit when it comes to like these robber baron, lair baron motherfuckers and shit, dude. I'm just like, damn, bro. Fucking, it's like legitimately like fucking ludicrous. I mean, it. I mean, it's like like where do I even start with this? Because I mean, I've heard the story at least like a couple times, from today, and I know that at least for like at least when it comes to this recent thing that he had to deal with, it's like some weird extra level of bullshit. Like it's like because this land baron, happens to be a content creator apparently, like out in Crescent City or some shit. This guy likes some fuck you money and like and all that, and it pretty much is found out that Paul has like a show and stuff like that, and it's been kind of like fucking with him. And when it comes to like the contracts that he keeps sending him, it's pretty much literally blank and there's like nothing there, just like empty shit, and it's just jibber jabbled and mishmash. Every time it comes back with it. And for like over a week, it's been like a rope a doping Paul into like these weird, like fucking scummy ass contracts and shit. Like fucking, like just basically like fucking with some dude's life just because of like, some bullshit or something, over like, consecrator, finding another consecrator and just like, kind of like fucking with them a little bit, especially being a landlord, probably a right wing MAGA chud too. Probably heard about Paul's politics and shit as well. And I mean, because I know one part of it's like, hey, like, this needs to be like done. And also there's like none of these things that should be a part of the contract are in here. Like, what the fuck, and be like, oh, I'm going to get right on that or whatever. And just never would. If anything, would not even add a lot of that shit in there. Just send them another blank one or like a very vague ass thing. And it's just like a way to like fuck with people, dude. And it's just so scummy, bro. Because like if there's ever an issue that ever happens at the property or whatever, and let's say some rube ends up taking that, then it's like oh well, it says on the contract that you're actually at fault or you need to take care of it or something or whatever the fuck. Like when it comes to like maybe a pipe bursting or some shit, right? And it would pretty much immediately be like, nope. It's like it is on a contract, even though it isn't. I could just literally like manufacture a random contract that has everything else that I need and just arbitrarily like say that it was already there in the first place, and you just didn't read the fine print. And it's like, but the problem is, what the fuck was the fine print? And I mean, it's just bullshit. And the person and the robber barons before, straight up were trying to price gouge and literally rob essentially, like well over the legal limit of what could be charged when it comes to security fee deposits and shit, where it's like 3 times over the limit. Where in California law, it can only be double the like double the rent essentially, and that's it. I don't know if Oregon state laws got that or not, or if it's similar or anything, but like as soon as like Paul noticed that, I was like, hey, you're charging me excessive of what California state law allows, and they just straight up ghost him entirely. It's like, oh, this person knows their rights, don't go with this person, we can't fuck this guy over because he knows his rights as a tenant. Man, it just really amplifies a lot of my like to mouse tendencies when it comes to landlords. Dude, fuck landlords because they're goddamn scum, bro. You're always gonna find a way to goddamn fucking rope dope you and just butt fuck your ass and shit when it comes to anything, dude. It's bullshit. Jesus. Shit's gonna fucking explode on me with that fucking flame. doggo. What's up, up? What's up, doggo? Goofy little clown. What's up, goofy little pup? He's staring at me like he wants something. What, do you want more food or something? He immediately looked over when I said that. I don't know why. I'm gonna get his food and water bowl in there at least. I think I don't want food, please. There we go. That'll do for him. Sure. Got a little bowl load on, huh? I was kind of thinking about, like, some of these, like, electoral polls and stuff and shit. Like, and I saw something, like when I was listening to some Onion Nuggets and shit, actually, about this, like, kind of weird, but, like, kind of odd thing about, like, a possibility of an electoral tie and shit that I've, kind of heard yammered about occasionally. And weirdly enough, as kind of fucking strange as it is, there is, like, a weird, like, outcome, like a couple, like at least like 2 or 3 different outcomes that could actually ironically make that a thing. And one of them is kind of weirdly enough a possibility. I forgot exactly like how the like landscape was for something like that to be a thing, for it to be like a 49-49, kind of electoral vote and shit. Because I know like Nebraska, at least like one electoral thing would have to go to Kamala, then the rest basically Trump. I know. I think pretty much all the electoral points to fucking Maine would have to be that way for all for Kamala. Pretty much. I think there's like what else? There's like a few other factors that played a role into it, but it is like weirdly enough one that is a possible map to like at least an outcome. I mean, and I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. I was like, man, if shit's so fucking neck and neck to where like now like these electoral tie like possibilities and theories are propping up, it's like Jesus Christ, bro. Like I think now all lived up energy has kind of gone away, and now I'm thinking like shit's a little like on the wire a bit, like kind of straight up, like especially from what like everything is pointing with like even with shit like that. I mean, chances of a tie are still super super fucking low, but just the fact that it's even being like kind of put out there as a possibility, or at least as a theory that could maybe or may not happen, is a little like, huh? It's like, I mean, is it that neck and neck? Because even last night, I was like, there was somebody in here that was like mentioning about, oh, well, it does seem like Kamal's doing well or anything like that. And it's like, well, look, I might be a, lefty and shit, and granted, I'm probably paying a little more attention to Dems, more so than not, but it's like, I mean, all in all, the energy, just even then, even if my outside of that, like my own experience, just out in the world, it doesn't even seem like that, really, honestly. I mean, it's, it definitely seems like it's a lot more like a relief in a weird way, where even more moderate leaning Republicans that I'm, talked to are a little bit, more on board with that than not. Kamala will have my vote if she had this one thing. Move Christmas further into winter. That's right. Back on it. Oh, shit, dude. I mean, honestly, like, she would, frankly, if she just, maybe, like, as a genuine good gesture, legalize weed, baby. Just take it off the scheduling. No, at least, like, memes aside, honestly, like, I do think if she, like, honestly, I bet she would be able to genuinely be able to secure a vote, and a solid victory. If, frankly, I hate to bring it up, but because, but actually, like, fucking, frankly, like, straight up, just stab Biden in the back, be, girl boss power, and just, force a ceasefire and be like, no, I'm in charge now. I'm in charge for the rest of the Biden administration for, he's unable to, continue his duties. So, at least for public, relations in America and elsewhere, you'll continue to abide me as Madam Vice President. But from here on out, I'm the president now. She should just do some girl boss shit like that and fucking force ceasefire, or at least, like, call out a warrant for fucking Netanyahu next time he steps foot in America, and, pressure our fucking allies to do the same. Just isolate them. Like, if she at least did something, even as minimal as that, even if we don't get a complete ceasefire, even if she did something like that, as small of a little gesture as that is, that would, I think, would actually be kind of, that would at least show some fucking gumption, She doesn't necessarily have to, like, full on, like, stop it all kind of shit. She just needs to show that she's got some fucking balls, though. Like that, well, no pun intended. I know, like, some people, like, are doing this weird fucking transvestigation shit, and her, like, weird, like, racial, like, investigation, investor-racialism. I don't even know what you would call that. But and I'm starting to realize Madam President could do many things. Yeah, she definitely could. Just fucking swap the dates of Christmas and Valentine's. I know teachers say we could just get rid of Thanksgiving. I don't think it needs to go that far, but there needs to be a buffer. I mean, well, I think Thanksgiving should just be kind of, broadly expanded and reformed into a different holiday. Get rid of that old, like, fuck Columbus Day. Get rid of that. Make it like a whole, like, week. Make it like a whole week thing. Make it like the, week of, of thanks and, and camaraderie day, week or something. Thanksgiving camaraderie week or some shit. Where it's like we actually, like, find camaraderie with our fellow man, our families, and our kin and shit, and our fellow brothers and sisters of, humanity. Give thanks, and, if anything, give recompense, and come together, clash some beers, feast, stuff our face with food, exchange food, exchange cultures. Like, to me, that's what, I would prefer Thanksgiving to be more about. Because I think, for some people, they kind of do it sometimes like that, but it's just like, man, I mean, I think it needs to actually be kind of more genuine to what the real heart of it is. And most of it just goes down to stuffing your face full of food. But that's where the cultural exchange thing comes into play, though. Because then, hey, I'll bring in, like, some mashed potatoes, some good steaks, some fucking, amazing homemade stuffing, shit like that. Some nice garlic, buttered, steamy hot buns, some Hawaiian buns and shit. And then some other dude could bring a plate of like some other fucking dankness, like, like some Ethiopian like charcuterie platter of just amazingness or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I would want to give thanks for, because that shit sounds fire as fuck. But I mean, more hectic aspects of the holidays. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hectic bullshit too. I mean, there needs to be a little more spaciousness, but that's why I kind of want to make it more like a week period thing, because then it's like it's not all crunched down to a day, And honestly, a lot of other cultures and religions tend to have their like holidays multiple days. Like, the Western holidays tend to be, all crunched down into like specific days, mainly because y'all got to go back to work and grind for the man. If you notice that. And some holidays get a token gesture, but basically have been warped into like some horrible shit, like Black Friday, for example, after Labor Day and all that shit, shit like that. It's like there's a lot of fucking things, where it's like some holidays aren't even really considered despite the value of what those, days can have and shit. International Workers' Day, May Day, May 1st, that too. Not really recognized that much outside of the people that actually kind of give a fuck. What's up? What's up, man? You know what I found out tonight? I have like a nature sense. You ever go outside and feel like something's different? I felt that. Yeah. I mean, when I was up in South Mountain, the seaside, yeah. The difference is that I felt that peace a little bit. And I was vibing and I'm just like, nature, clean air. You'll be up 6 hours, so I can't be here long. Oh. Well, no worries, man. Because what you actually have to do is like, now you're enslaved into my manifest of what I actually, conjure into the world. So you're going to be stuck here as long as I, deem it fit. That's how it works. Because you're only here as long as I imagine you being here. Solipsism, baby. It's like how the night sky looked. Just felt that change was near. The sense of an almond. Got a slight sunburns, the small blisters on my hip, or on my feet, and I took my left hip, knee, and ankle on the right ankle as well. I think all those beers may not feel that shit as much. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling it too today, man. Like, I'm definitely pretty sore and shit myself, but I honestly, despite that, today I feel pretty rejuvenated. Like, I woke up and I was like, yeah, I was kind of like, weirdly enough, kind of was like, nice. I like how I was like the only one that literally straight dunked my entire head in the ocean too. Like, I was surprised, even Stefan, even despite him, prioritizing having to do with cooking stuff, I'm surprised he didn't even do it. Might have a small thing in his back foot, and Jeff's feet are really raw too. They aren't really moving. Well, they're probably just tired as fuck too. So, I mean, they had a long day too. I don't know why I don't sunburn. I just get moles on my arm. That's probably honestly, that's probably like the Arab background in you and shit. It's like the Palestinian a little bit. I mean, you can handle that, sun and that heat. I mean, even for me, I don't really got full on sunburns, but I definitely got like, I could feel a little something on my face, my arms a little bit when it came to the heat a bit, even on my back a bit, so not full on sunburns. If they are, they're very mild ones. They're not really that irritating. I mean, I'm noticing it. It's like, but it's not really that bad. I mean, I was like completely shirtless, mostly, when we were out at the beach, and that's when I was getting the most sun. But those clouds were, overhead too, so that kind of blocked a lot of it. So if it wasn't already, I would have jumped in all the way. Yeah, I noticed. I went like way off in somewhere else because I just wanted to get the sand off me, and I took one more quick little like, just kind of splashed myself in there really quick, and it's like, all right, get this fucking cold water all over me really quick, get the sand off me, and I just hustled my way back because that's like that sand dried on me and it was just irritating the shit out of me. I mean, that's kind of why I asked it. It's like, I'll take one more dive, but I was like, all right, well, I'll go over here in the corner because you won your moment and I have my moment too, so I respect it. So I do want to interrupt that. You ever think about how Yellowstone is overdue to erupt? Well, I mean, from what I understand, we wouldn't know if it's about to blow. Like geologists and shit, like they would, they've said like we wouldn't know if it's about to go, and there's nothing that indicates that it's going to go off anytime soon. So honestly, I think we would know. And sorry, but I feel like unless the Cascadia fault line goes with it, we're probably going to be okay. Over here, you're going to get fucked first, sadly. Unless you move up here. As soon as you start hearing the geologists being like, Yellowstone might go anytime, next 150 or something, move over here. Move to the West Coast, because, I mean, maybe not near the Cascadia fault line, because maybe go southwest or something. It's really warm water for the ocean, man. I mean, honestly, it wasn't that bad. I mean, for me, it was pretty cold, but I mean, once you kind of like acclimate to it, it wasn't even that bad. That's why I ducked my head in, because I was waist deep, and I was like, you know what? Do I want to just dunk my whole body in it? And I just took my shirt off, got my hat, my last little bit of my beard, chugged that real quick, held all my clothes, and I just went, all right, let's do it. Boom. And I just put my whole body outside my hand, just fists in the air with my hat, my shirt, and all. My empty beer bottle, just like dunking my whole head in there. Felt fucking great. Fucking got a wave that just splashed up, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, oh my God, that's cold as shit, but holy fuck, that felt amazing. I was like, oh, that felt good. But all right, let me turn back and go back over there. I mean, it was good fun times, though. I'm clear. My state is just outside the eruption zone. As for your state, that's bad news. I know, the Cascadia fault line and shit. But the thing is, though, it's the ash you got to worry about. Dude, you might be outside the eruption zone, but, dude, the entire world, and especially Northern Hemisphere, is about to get bitch fucked. You know what I mean? The ash. Dude, when Mount St. Helens erupted, my dad remembers having literally inches of ash this deep, like 2 to 3 inches of ash. Just, from Mount St. Helens back in the 80s, like when he was a kid going to school and shit. Like, I mean, imagine Yellowstone, bro. I'm used to masking up. You're going to need a full-on gas mask and, like, literally having a backpack just with filters alone, okay? Like, full-on gas mask status. Dude, a regular old mask ain't gonna cover that shit, okay? I'm sorry, but that ain't gonna work. I mean, as much as you're gonna need like a straight on, like, environmental, like, gas mask, like, thing or some shit, dude. And a lot of shit's just gonna get fucked too, by the way, like when it comes to that. What are you gonna do then? Just honestly, just embrace it and be like, all right, well, I guess I'm in environmental apocalypse status. Our government is pretty much collapsed up here until the federal government comes out. Well, I guess now I'm going to be, I'm in apocalypse mode now, I guess, up until further notice. There we go. band together with the bros and fucking like, go somewhere that's at least the least fucked and, maybe try to find somewhere that might have a decent greenhouse and at least grow some stuff and shit there, at least some basic produce and shit that we all, we'll be able to schmack on, you know what I'm saying? Space for the dogs and honestly, go bandito mode a little bit. Not even gonna lie, dude. I'm not even, most people will be hitting grocery stores. Fuck that. I'm hitting the warehouses. I know where they are. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, this is Yellowstone we're talking about, okay? Like, if it like the hypothetical scenario, let's say it's like, the next 5 years or 10 years that happens. Like, that would be my fucking shit. I mean, straight up. Like, it feels like it was like sometime this week, the geologists like, alert, like, we, are detecting a lot of, internal core rumblings, around the Yellowstone area. We do believe that next, like, 15, 10 years or something, that's going to go off or whatever. I'm going to be like, all right, prepper mode, like, straight up, I'm going to go prep mode. I mean, because, like, especially around here when you got the Cascadian fault line, which is not completely, attached to the Yellowstone, caldera and all that shit. But, like, if you look at, all that shit, it sits next to it, basically. And they theorize that if Yellowstone goes, that whole Cascadian fault line goes. It includes Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, Rainier, possibly St. Helens again, maybe. I mean, fucking, like all these fucking mountains. And, I mean, it'd be a literal chain reaction, hypothetically. So if that's the case, I mean, we would still feel the least brunt bullshit from it. But, it's still, I mean, we would kind of, over time definitely get fucked. But, I mean, and honestly, another thing, coast. Going to the coast. Because, I mean, they would feel the least amount of the repercussions from this across the board, essentially. Like, I mean, they're the farthest away from the Cascadian fault line overall. I mean, the worst thing that we'll have to deal with tideways, but a lot of that Oregon coast is cliff sides. And you don't have to go right next to the beach, to be safe out there. There's a lot of places where you can be safe from tsunamis and be on the coast. I mean, so with that in mind, I mean, it's not impossible to make it out here. It would be rough and it'd be fucked, but, it's not impossible. I saw that Colorado was in the eruption zone. That made me sad, but I saw that Utah was too, and I was like, get fucked! Yeah. Don't blame me on that. We'll split YouTube instead of Utah, so that's what it takes to finally bring the company down. That'd be great! Georgia's usually pretty good about avoiding super self-destructive weather. Yeah, we get floods. Well, you get hurricanes too, but we tend to dodge the hurricanes and shit. Oh, well, not all the time. Hurricanes go up that way and all that shit. I mean, you'll get hit with hurricanes occasionally. Don't think your state's completely innocent of shit, because Oregon tends to be too. But, don't let that, bliss, be taken for granted necessarily, because, I mean, up here in PNW, it's a beautiful land, but it's got a sinister mistress, waiting to come out every now and then. It's like a weekend hurricane, though. Yeah, fair enough. Here, take a piss real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, come on. Here. Come here, little butt. Come on. Come on. You silly bean. Oh, you silly bean. Oh, my goodness. Look at you. You're so sweet. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, such a cute little bean. A cute little bean indeed. Ooh. Before I get something that fucks them up, with us, it's more like a mild inconvenience. Well, I imagine also, like, because Georgia, good old Georgia, you know, it's not mostly marshland shithole, you know, kind of status type of stuff. You know, like, and because of that, I'm pretty sure that plays a strong role in it. Like, the ground y'all sit on is a lot more foundationed to, like, you know, to the earth. You know, Florida is kind of clinging on. Louisiana, oh, no, like, no, Louisiana, I tell you what now, boy, better cling on their life, I tell you what now. Georgia, get all Georgia, tell you what now. Get all done. Weather isn't destructive, it's just depressing. Yeah, our weather can be like that too. Mostly because of the rain. The rain, I tell you what, the rain ain't definitely sucks there, boy, I tell you what now. Ooh. Oh, that felt good. I'm definitely still going to feel the soreness when it comes to all that hiking. You know, I just kind of wish I was able to, like, just kind of swim around up in that fucking beach a little more. And so I learned if you bake muffins, don't use all the circles, that way you can spread out. Oh, like, you know, kind of have them, like, you know, one every other space, basically, so they don't, like, attach to each other if they, like, rise up and shit. So it kind of gives it more of a perfect circular puff, you know, a little on the top. I don't know what you would call the top of that muffin. I just like to call it, like, either a little mushroom top or a puff. the puff. I mean, it's a little puffy part of the muffin. I don't know. The dome, dude. That actually sounds more cooler too. The dome of the muffin. The dome puff. The Powerpuff Dome, dude. Okay, I just thought of a fucking awesome, cool, like, mushroom edible food. A muffin. But just call it the Powerpuff Dome, dude. And, you know, it's just like, I don't know how you would do it. I would assume, like, you could, you know, I just now just thought about this. Would a shroomy will still do its thing if you, like, baked it in, like, a muffin or something? Because this is the only way it would work, I think. Like, you have a muffin, not a lot of it, but, you know, enough to, I don't know, like, a decent trip, basically. Or maybe a microdose, depending on, like, how much, you know, whatever, right? But, like, but then it would vary, though, because you'd be making multiple muffins, so some of them would be stronger, though. Actually, that's the mystery of it all. You know, and then you gotta make it satisfactory, though. Shit. There needs to be this needs to be experimented. And also, the only way I think the experiment would even be able to work in the first place if bacon is still a silly, you know, shroomy, the silly shroomy, like, if it still works, you know, baking it a little bit in, like, a cookie or, you know, or a muffin or something, or a pancake or some shit, then it works. That's all that matters. You can cook a bake with shrooms. There's entire books on it. Well, I mean psilocybin ones, like the silly shroomies. I don't mean just regular old shrooms. I mean, like, shroomies. So, hey, it would work too. Just saying. Yes. Okay. You know what? Hey, fucking A. Because honestly, I assumed, that it would work. I just wasn't honestly too sure, so I just needed the confirmation. Red says he can, so yeah. All right, double confirmation. That's literally all I really needed. I mean, it's like a weed, right? Like you could do it, THC and CBD and shit. I mean, so why not with shroomies, right? Exactly. See, Mother Earth already knows what's up, bro. It knows that we were gonna fuck around with that shit a little bit and maybe try different ways of consuming that bitch or consuming them bitches. So it's just like, hey, man, that's why like not to get like herbal remedy status and shit, but honestly, there is a kernel of truth to it. It's just that obviously it can't like just rely on it. But I mean, shit. I mean, if it's like a part of like an addition to like your general care to your own health, like it really does kind of do some wonders. Because I mean, there's so much shit out there that's just like legit so good for you. Like coconut oil, for example. Like what else? Like just different little herbal teas, and depending on what you mix in there and shit. Like even like having pine needle tea and stuff, for example, is really good for you. Like like in the Pacific Northwest, like a lot of indigenous folk will like grab different little native plants and like fir pines and shit, like Douglas fir pines and stuff, shit like that. Coconut oil is actually really bad for you, so high saturated fats. Well, at least that's like something that if you were to rub on your skin and stuff. I don't really mean for consumption. I mean more or less like if you're using it as like kind of like a body lotion almost and stuff. I mean, because consuming it, you want to, at least for coconut oil specifically, you want to kind of really regulate that. But coconuts in themselves, coconut water and like, the coconut meat and shit, like that stuff is pretty good for you. But yeah, it's something that, you don't want to necessarily like, to have too much of an excess on because of, what you're saying with saturated fats and stuff. Because of the coconut oil that would be in all that. It's okay in small amounts, like popping popcorn. Yeah. At least with the oil specifically. But yeah, I mean, if you have a coconut water or, maybe little drizzles of like, the coconut shavings, on like a, little something, something. It's got high smoke point, so it's good for that. Yeah. I mean, coconut oil's got some, good properties to it, overall. But I mean, for me, at least, we use coconut oil more so for like, like conditioners or like body lotions and stuff because it's really good for the skin. Same with olive oil, it's like that's another thing. Olives, it's like not only is it really good to eat, but it's like the olive oil is really good for the skin, good for, and for consumption wise, maybe not. You don't want to eat all of it, a lot of it, or whatever, or consume a lot of it, but it's also pretty good for you too. This is one of the best oils you can eat. Well, yeah, but you don't want to just like strictly consume all of it and shit. But I mean, olive oil is almost like the jack of all trades of the oils, when it comes to that type of stuff. It's good for your, skin stuff, if you're, and all that shit. It's, like a good remedy for, different things, like at least it's like, not a cure all, but, and also it's, just good for you in general. Like, I mean, it's the jack of all trades with the oil. Like, I mean, you can't really say too much. Recommend take a teaspoon a day. And I got a whole gigantic, like, literal, like, jug of olive oil that I use, and whenever I'm making food, I usually will, like, put a little dabble of that bitch. It's probably why Mediterranean diet is so healthy for you. Like, yeah, honestly. And I love Mediterranean food. There's certain things that I don't really like, like I'm not a fan of feta cheese and shit. There are certain olives I'm not a fan of, so, like, and, like, and, like, small little cherry tomatoes and sweet cherry tomatoes stuff, like, not a fan of. I mean, honestly, if they were, like, organically, like, grown or some shit, like, from, like, some Greek mimas, but, like, fucking, like, garden right outside of her patio or some shit, I'd probably have that shit, honestly. But, like, I'm not a fan of tomatoes, really, unless it's, like, made into something. Marinara, the Greek babushka, yeah, yeah, right, yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say babushka because Greeks, they're not babushkas. They're like, because babushka would be like, Russian or Ukrainian grandmas or Belarusian grandmas. I mean, so, but yeah, the equivalent of that, essentially. Hummus, dude, hummus is fire as fuck, and I will not hear anything else about that. Like, dude, hummus is amazing, especially when you got some naan bread. get a little hummus and, you know, maybe put like a little like, you know, a little pepper seasoning on that or something. Just, or put like, you know, a little celery stick on that bitch or some shit, bro. Dude, fire as fuck. Hell yeah. Dude, yeah, hell yeah, brother. That, yeah, dude, hummus is fire as fuck, bro. You know, also speaking of Mediterranean food, like I actually saw on Threads earlier today of this video of at the DNC, like with some of the protesters. There's this Palestinian protester. I forgot his name. It's kind of a well-known dude amongst, you know, like the Palestinian like liberation community and stuff within the Democratic Party and shit. And some Zionists like came up to him, you know, and it was basically being like, oh, you know, I'm allowed to be here and stuff, and the reason why I'm out here is because they're not, you know, supportive of Israel enough, and like, and I have not, blah blah blah. He's just being a fucking little lib bitch boy and whatever, right? And dude, this guy, dude, this dude literally looks like he could run like, you know, some sort of like Palestinian food street cart. I'm not trying to be like too stereotypical with it, but like, dude, he literally looks like he would make the most fire as fuck like Palestinian fucking food out of a street truck, and it would be like the best within a 1,000-mile radius, like literally the best shit you have ever had. And it's all like locally grown from like, you know, farms that, you know, he's endorsed and trust and shit in the local area, whatever the fuck. It literally be shit like that. And he was just straight up like, oh, you know, you know, it's like you think pig dog fucking, you know, Zionist racist, you know, should be able to just like, you know, say they ought to have a right to my home and shit and my family's home and blah. Like, he was just shut him the fuck down. Like, and that's kind of why I say that, because the energy in his like go fuck yourself kind of mentality, you know, like was just so like, it just made me think of that. It's like, dude, this guy is just like fucking insane, and I love it. Lol, what? I mean, I really wish we could react to it, because honestly, oh man, maybe I can find it. Because I did like the post on Threads, and I know Rose just sent me a post on Threads. Give me a second. It's going to give you like a little spin of death or whatever the fuck. You know, give me a minute. I'll try to find it, and I'll copy and paste the link, because well, hold on. Can I even send like chats while I'm doing this? Can I do that? I cannot. Okay, well, I'll just like copy and paste the link and then like send it to you directly, or maybe I can send it to Rosen and he can copy paste it over here or something. I don't know, but yeah. You should be back in. It's like, yeah, it took me fucking forever to find it. I was like on the hunt, bro. I was like, I know I saw that bitch on that shit, but I just sent it to Mornak so he can fucking, you know, whatever, you know, so he can at least see it. Finally, at least figured it out. Goddamn, look at it. I said I was gonna find it. Oh my god. Dios mío. Dios mío, cabrón. I mentioned I was gonna find the damn shit, and everyone's just like, oh my goodness. Did you see the pizza? I did indeed, and it was nice. But yeah, like I said, I was gonna give it a minute, but honestly, it took way too fucking long to find it, because like I had to find out where my liked posts were, because I know I liked it, but I didn't repost it or anything. So, oh my god. Anyway, it took me forever to fucking find it, but I found it. But yeah, like, you know what? Is there maybe a? No, there ain't. I was about to say maybe I could try to see if I can play the audio of it, because dude, it's hilarious. He even gets at the interviewer, you know, too, being like, oh, you know, you're just applying the question, you know, to be like defensive toward the Zionist pig dog racists over here, you know, and it's like, and because she was saying, oh, were you trying to like threaten him? What were you applying with saying that? Because what he was saying is like, you know, if I showed up to a Zionist Israeli pro-Israeli protest, I'd get, you know, my shit pummeled and I'd be, you know, beaten the fuck out of, basically. But but you're allowed to be here, and it's like, you know, and in an equal playing field, you would get the same shit kind of thing. He was like kind of saying it's like he would beat his fucking ass, and then after that, it's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, go on, just get the fuck out of here. And it's like every time this weasel little prick was like, oh well, am I not welcome here? It's like this is kind of why you want to support and push my position as a Zionist Jew, because this is why the aggression is like overall a microaggression to the macrocosm of like or whatever the fuck, I don't know, some Weasley dog shit lived up fucking version of fascism they're pushing and shit. It's ridiculous. He wasn't having none of it, though. He was like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. He was like, yeah, none of it. And then when the interviewer, like, honestly, either she was just too stupid to realize the implications of the questions she was asking, or she was just a Zionist herself, but she was well out of her fucking league. Like, straight up. She was just like, I'm racist because I didn't know that's what I was being, like, trying to defend him or nothing. I'm just trying to kind of get a gauge about stuff, which either that's her playing dumb or, again, she's just too stupid to be in the position that she's in. She's just out of her league. It's like, get some practice. Don't be, going on these hotbed issues, if you don't know how to play ball with that shit. If you can't pick up the hot potato, then don't be in the kitchen trying to, handle the hot potato. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it ain't going to work. It's going to make you look fucking stupid. But it is just like awesome, dude. I just love the dude's energy too, because he has like a no fuck mentality, and I don't blame him, man. It's like I fucking love it. That's why I'm like thinking, man, like I don't know what he does, as like his usual like income living and stuff, because I don't know anything about him. I just know like his name is in the threads posts, that I sent to Mornex. But like, I mean, dude, if you like owned a street truck or some shit like that, like serving up like authentic like Palestinian dishes and shit, bro, it would be the most fire fucking shit in the world. Again, I'm not trying to be bad about that. I'm just saying it's like, because like honestly, a lot of like what's considered like a Jewish style dishes tend to kind of legit if you think about it, and when you look into it, get appropriated from Palestinian ethnic dishes and shit. So it's like they just like basically jack Palestinian food and stuff. So it's like, and honestly, they don't even do it that great either. It's like because they have to, remain more kosher or whatever the fucking knows. I don't even get shit. But it's not as good. But like like when it comes to the Palestinian style stuff, it's gonna be way fucking better. And plus, it's like, they just got like some good, amazing, food. I mean, come on. That region of the world in general's just got fire fucking food. It's like the British version of India food. Honestly, that's a good way to put it. Because they're a bunch of colonizers and oppressors, and fucking, are trying to like manufacture their own fucking like bullshit history, because like these Israelites were there once upon a time. But it's like, a lot of like the original Israelites, or the descendants of such, like they're like pretty much all over the fucking place. And that was fucking thousands of years ago. Like, who gives a fuck anymore? It's like, I mean, like a lot of it literally dates a lot of these grievances, at least when it comes to the more holy religious, like, right to this holy land bullshit. Like, it comes from that. It's like they're just as systematic as anyone else, and they've been able to coexist with everybody else for fucking thousands of years, and if anything, have integrated and intermingled with those people for a long time. Like, I mean, like you can even look during like the 1900s, like the early 1900s, the 1910s and 20s, like where, a lot of these, people like Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people intermingled and coexisted in places like in Jerusalem and shit. It's like, so what changed? Then I'm thinking that I want to see Infinity Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse, and it's where the British stuff stole our stuff. Yep. And honestly, that was based. When I remember seeing that in the movie theaters, because it was not a fully packed theater, but a decently packed one. I just busted a gut. I just went, I just literally busted a gut on that shit, because I was just like, yo, like, I mean, I mean, it was just amazing. And also when Morales said chai tea instead of just chai, and he's like, chai tea? Chai tea? You're just saying TT, bro. Chai means tea. You're just saying TT. I mean, that's not the exact quote, but it's pretty much the exact same thing. But dude, that was pretty funny too. Dude, I love that guy. I mean, honestly, the Indian Spider-Man was probably my favorite Spider-Man outside of the anarchist British punk, Spider-Man. Those two are my favorite. They are my favorite. That's the reason why I kind of like the Spider-Verse. I'm done with superhero shit outside of like that right now because honestly, I know they're side characters, but I don't give a shit. They're fucking awesome. Is there a date when that third movie's coming out? Because once that movie comes out, I'm like, all right, I don't got other superhero shit to fucking care about. At least for a long time, as far as I'm aware. Unless Hollywood fucking rope-a-dose me into something else. I remember reading when someone in the UK, I think, was watching an older British dude and had the most stern look when that line came up. Well, yeah, because it's calling their ass out because of how much of a bitch they are and how much of a colonial monarchist they are. Oh, by the way, you probably weren't in here, but Rip City had a funny ass comment because he had this old lady that apparently was at the store when he was getting some stuff that literally basically looked as old as the Queen of England and smelled like Worcester sauce and looked like the embodiment of a British person. Because he said, quote, I was at the store and all of a sudden I started smelling Worcester sauce and I looked up to see this old lady dressed like a British. Like it didn't even smell bad, just fresh Worcester sauce. That's literally what he said. What about Joker? Well, yeah, but I don't really necessarily count that. The whole like premise of Joker is like with him being, the Joker, like that's more or less to just kind of get, nerds and shit in here. Just watch the vid. Hey, nice. Hey, Ripsy's back. I was actually just mentioning about, your Worcester sauce lady that you were talking about. It came tangential in the conversation until he just came back in here. Yeah, hey, speaking of devil, I say their name and they eventually come forth. That's a weird pattern I've noticed. Like, I will mention someone's name, like, Rip or Rose, and then literally within minutes' time, it's like, oh, they show up. It's not all the time, but there is a pattern where that does happen more often than not. 97 on Saturday. Oh, don't tell me that. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, don't tell me that. Right on time for an Anarchy Beach Punk show. Well, hey, I did my punk show, and now, you're doing yours. But, send me a pic, or some videos and stuff, See if you can record, like, a song from one of the bands and, upload it or something. I'll share it around. Hell, I even re-upload it on my channel if you want. Get some bands out there. Get their names known. Which I still need to upload some shit from the Volume Bomb-Buck party too. I haven't done that yet. I did at least live stream Los Momblados in 1876, so there's that at least so far. But I need to at least get my other shit going and get that uploaded. Plenty of bands. I actually got a shitload of bands that I need to upload, to be frank. Right on time for that. Oh, I read that. Man, I fucking hate heat waves, man. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. It's going to make me want to go back to the beach and go into that nice, cold fucking water, bro. And also, by the way, since I got in your Rip, I'm surprised. I mean, I know you were cooking food and stuff, but I'm kind of surprised that you didn't even do a quick little dive, into the ocean or anything. Out of all people, I thought you would have. Logan said he was going to, but he just went to the ocean a little too late. But, as soon as I saw it while we were all set up and I got all my shit down, I was like, you know what? I'm going while I got the chance. The sun's out. Ocean was cold and it was mad outside. Dude, I dunked my head in that bish. I went out there waist deep, being like, this is actually kind of nice. Dude, that ocean was not that cold. Like, it was initially, but once you acclimated to it, it wasn't that bad. I mean, wow, this is actually kind of surprising, dude. I prefer rivers to the ocean anyway. I dive into the Willamette today. Oh, but no, but you didn't dive into our biggest body of water near us, the ocean, the Pacific. She was calling your name, and you disrespected her name. You weren't even gonna get your feet in the water. Shame, full shame, sir. I mean, I'll kind of fuck with you anyway. I mean, I'm not being that serious about it, but I will admit, I am a little surprised. Even Logan was like a little surprised by it. It's like, damn, you dunked your whole head in, and I was all wet, from all my whole body holding my shit. I was like, yeah, whew. I was kind of like, let's go, let's do it, and start playing our game, and it was fun. And then I got sandier than shit. I became the Sandman. What do you think of the MCU Spider-Man movies? I think in terms of Ryan, they're more solid, but in particular, Spider-Man does feel enough like the comics. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't really watched all of them. I've seen Homecoming years ago, but I've only seen it once. I mean, to be honest, I've only seen how many outside of the Spider-Verse movies, like how many Spider-Man movies are there in the MCU universe? Because to be honest, I think I've only seen maybe one or two of them. Is there like 3 or 4 of them? Because I mean, if so, I've only seen them once, and it was probably shortly after the release. And I mean, even then, don't remember too much of them. This one, the water temps at a peak about mid up 60s. If we count Maguire and Garfield, they're at 8. Well, I've seen the Maguire. Oh, I mean, honestly, I grew up with the Tobey Maguire movies. The Garfield, Andrew Garfield. Honestly, I liked them. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of sleep on them a little bit, but at least the first 2 movies are actually pretty good. And for these newer ones of Tom Hardy, I've only seen one of those. I think. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it might have been only one of them. If you count Venom, that becomes 10, soon to be 11. Yeah, I haven't seen the Venom movie. I haven't seen that, so can't really say anything about that. Other than there's gotta be carnage. There's gotta be carnage. Garfield is good as Spider-Man, but the movies are clunky as hell. Yeah, and I think that's why people sleep on it, which is understandable, because they are clunky. But honestly, I mean, they're not that bad. All right. I mean, they're as far as I'm concerned, I mean, they're not better than the Tobey Maguire movies. I got a little bias to that. I kind of grew up with that shit. I kind of like those movies. And then Tom Hardy, I mean, I can't really say much about that. So I don't know. I mean, on that, I can't even really have a strong opinion one way or the other. I mean, from what I have seen of his Spider-Man, I mean, I don't really got that many complaints. I mean, so. And honestly, Tom Hardy literally is twink status straight up. So, and it's also, I think, an interview where he talks about how, he literally pretended to be, some kid, at the school and shit that, they were doing their whole set and shit in. And he was going kind of undercover for a little bit before they actually started recording shit, and he literally got away with being this American student, and some kids were asking they were asking who are you, are you you do you belong here? And one of them, and then he eventually said to one of them, it's you really want to know the secret? I'm a British actor, and I'm just doing this to kind of get acclimated and being some academic high school and shit like that and blah, blah, blah for my character role and stuff. And, and he played into that role the entire time while he was there too, until he let on the secret to this one kid. And they were like, bullshit, that's not true. And didn't believe him up until time came to start shoot. When it came to shooting the film, and they were like, oh, oh shit, he's in his 20s. Oh, damn. know, you look like you look a lot like Tom Holland. I bet one of them, said that to me. It's like, yeah, I kind of do. I get that a lot. Well, he wouldn't do it in a British accent. He'd be like, yeah, I do kind of get that a lot there, but well, that's kind of Canadian. I don't fucking know what like some New Yorker accents. Like, yeah, I get that a lot there, kid. Oh, absolutely a lot. There we go. I had to narrow it down. Went from British to Canadian to like a very butcher New York accent. Definitely gonna do it midnight dive at Saturday night. Man, if I was gonna go to the karaoke bar after work, I kind of would be tempted for that too. But that would be more like 1 or 2 in the morning. But I have my dog, and he would not like that. Also remind me of a short I saw the other day. Do you miss when villains were just cartouche evil for no reason? Yeah, kind of. Closest we had in recent years is Jack Homer. Yeah. Forget about it. Zucchini would hell like it. Well, I mean, after hanging out at the bar, with me and my drunk ass, after all that shit, it just wouldn't be a good idea. I mean, maybe, I suppose, but I don't know if it's a good idea. I wouldn't know if that would be a good idea, 100%. The same short Green Goblin was brought up, and they were right about because Peter in that movie is just out of high school, and Norman in the movie is from the same age as the actor, was 47. Yeah, because isn't he like a business magnate and like a military industrial complex, like corporate magnate fuck? So what's he got, against this fucking kid? You know what I mean? Well, because like his son also happens to know him too, or some shit, or whatever the fuck. Maybe 2 weeks from Saturday. Well, I haven't been at Duffy's these last 2 Saturdays. On the 17th, I didn't go, and then last week, because of the Volume Bomb block party, I didn't go then. The usual people on Saturday are probably wondering where the fuck I've been. How are you beefing with someone who just graduated high school when you're in your late 40s? I know, man. Dude, that is kind of the funny thing about the Tobey Maguire movies. It's like, that motherfucker's straight beefing with a kid who's like 17 or 18 and just fresh out of high school, bro. It's like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, what, because he got bit by a radioactive spider or some shit? I mean, it's like, come on now. It's all his fault, Spider-Man. And he was in the underground local wrestling scene. I mean, honestly, it's like, I mean, what the fuck? I mean, wouldn't you want him on your side? Who hasn't been who hasn't been bitten by a radioactive spider? I mean, I haven't. I've been bitten by spiders before, but never radioactively. And it's like, yeah, maybe I kind of want that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, seeing shit from tall places and shit, especially knowing my agitator anarchist ass. I mean, it's like, dude, I would be in so many places where obviously I'm not allowed. If anything, I'll just be the Robin Hood version, like I'll just be, that UK punk Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse. I'll just be that, but P&W guy. I'd just be a P&W version of that. That reminds me of just a horror film short of Spider-Man called Spiders that's free on YouTube. The Spider. It's like 10 minutes long. Maybe you want to link it to me on Discord or something. I'll check it out. Actually, a horror short film about Spider. Ooh. That's a little intriguing. Yeah, if you want to send that to me. I mean, everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. Yeah, everyone's getting bit by radioactive spiders. It's a new hip thing. Gonna leak the pipe real quick. I'll be right back. I just realized there's dead supplements, and I do not like that. Oh shit! My little playlist of music is gone. Shit! I don't want to fuck around. God damn it! Whatever. Deal with the silence then, I suppose. Boom! It silenced me. right there. Popo. Oh, puppy. Come here. Come on, bud. No. Oh my God, you lazy bones. Get over. Oh my God. Dude. Don't be sleeping on my foot. Come on. Oh, okay, fine. Well, stay here then. Fuck you too. Oh my God, that lazy bone. I'll go. Come on. Come here. All right. Enough of your shenanigans. Come here. Oh, Jesus, he's a workout. Oof. Oh, God, he's a little bit of a workout. For a small bean, you're a heavy boy. Goof. Sweet little thing. Little ball shenanigans. My goodness. What the, you fucking bastard? Excuse me. Just hooked his fucking foot on the charging cable and just fucked that up. Oh, you're doing this to try to, like, you know, presume your innocence. Oh my goodness, that's smush. Oh, you little smush face. Oh, this goof. This goofy face, though. Let's see the last comment. Not the last one before, and sent out. Wait, hold on. Let's see the last comment, not the last one, the one before it. So the second to last. And I was meaning to show you react to, but you know, ... Oh yeah, this one, I mean, with J.K. Rowling with the mold, except it was a Green Goblin talking to his mask, also Stancy made a skit on it. I haven't been paying too much attention to it, but what the fuck, like, she's having, like, you know, a lawsuit against her about, like, Amy Kamali, yeah, that Algerian woman, you know, that she and a bunch of other right-wing fucks think that she's some trans man or something, which doesn't even make sense because it's literally illegal in Algeria to fucking be trans, so that don't even make sense in the first place. All right, get down. Don't smash my ball. Oh, what's this? What are we doing with your legs? Jesus. Fruit Loop. Oh, okay. That was my fault for having a little tower literally stacked of cans. But damn, that tail's a weapon, bro. Tail's a fucking weapon, my dude. Goofy little thing. It's just a silly little munchkin. Shilly munchkin. But what was I about to say? But yeah, like with JK, like with that whole with the whole lawsuit, she was supposed to pretty much like keep her fucking mouth shut, but then she like recently started piping up again, even though legally she isn't supposed to, and despite like the whole UK law about like when it comes to defamation suits and shit, like she's actually fucked herself, really hard with this. And what's even more funny is that she always will use that type of shit against people, that are calling her out for being a transphobe and anti-Semitic and like doing Holocaust denialism and shit, because she has done that. And she always will use that as a weapon to people. And now it's used as a weapon against her, rightfully so, by the way. And now she's, pretty much having to, eat her own medicine, and she don't like it. And yeah, and frankly, her house is straight up like getting straight fucking moldy as shit, bro. Like legit. And she's a rich billionaire fucking bourgeois cocksucker. Like, I mean, what? She doesn't have the fucking money to have some maids and, whatever the fuck, to show up and like, help, maintain her house or whatever. Like, how in the fuck is that even happening? I mean, shit, I don't exactly live in a lap of luxury, but, whatever the fucking things can be cluttered around here. But fuck, I don't have to deal with black mold. House just got wear and tear because old fuck. I mean, what's her goddamn excuse? It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Fucking wretched bitch. Please be the Queen of England's fuck the monarchy. No, like, it's J.K. Rowling. Her house, like, there's a theory, and it's honestly strong as fuck all in all, that there's black mold growing in her house and shit, because she has done different interviews online and stuff, like in, video call-in interviews and shit like that. And with those interview call-ins, like, she would have pretty much, for years now, like, the same background. Like, and there's people have taken screen caps of her, at her like desk, from 2020, where there's no black mold, or if there is, you can't see it really because it's not visible enough. Up until like even from last year to this year, and there is straight up like patches of fucking mold on her walls. Like, and some people that defend her ass are, trying to downplay it as like, oh, she just changed her, wall decoration or whatever, her wall decor. It's like, no, she didn't, because the entire wall looks pretty much the goddamn same outside of these weird black patches, because they're trying to excuse it as like flowers or something. It's like, no, it's not. It literally isn't. Like, it's not outright confirmed, but I mean, everything literally just points to the fact that she has black mold growing all over her house. And there's also a lot of side effects to having mold, being exposed to black mold, especially, when it comes to your own health, mentally, especially. And, hey, that rhymes. And that might explain some of her fucking wild shit. Like, her brain's rotted because black mold spores have, like, eaten her brain out or something, dude. RFK got the brain worms. Fucking JK Rowling got the fucking black mold spores, dude. She's got the spores, bro. I mean, it's like straight up. It's fucked, dude. Because, I mean, imagine how many, kids, like, especially queer kids and shit that, like, probably looked up to her because of Harry Potter alone. And then to see her be an unhinged fucking lunatic when it comes to, just trans rights and, proper feminism or whatever the fucking bullshit she wants to espouse. It's like, man, I really feel bad for him, man. As much I think my mom was silly for it, I'm kind of got a silver lining thankfulness that she kind of kept me away from Harry Potter and shit, because I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that conundrum. She thought it was all witchcraft and Satanism and teaching kids about, paganism and stuff. Ugh. That's what my mom thought, so she never, let me read the books or watch Harry Potter and shit. Which, by the way, that was in the early 2000s, mid-2000s and shit and all that shit, during that time. And, I guess what, like, that culture war shit was going strong back then just as much as it is today. That ain't no different. My mom was all whipped up in her own way back in those days, just as much as, people are whipped up about now. Maybe more so than ever, granted, but I mean, wasn't that much different. I think about it, I can't think of many Jewish people who were Harry Potter fans growing up. Probably because of the goblins and shit, dude. Honestly. In the books, they're depicted a little bit more questionably. Like, but in the movies, I mean, they just kind of look like goblins, I guess, like a stereotypical kind of like goblin or whatever the fuck, I suppose. But like, you know, like, but I mean, but in the books, at least I got a chance to read like some pretty legit, like, really good books that were written by Jewish authors and Holocaust survivors as well. Like, I remember reading Night by Elie Wiesel when I was in my freshman year of high school, and holy shit. I mean, to this day, there are scenes in that book that still stick with me because, like, I mean, it is a very vivid fucking book. I mean, straight up. I mean, and what's even insane is that some of these, book bans and shit are also wanting to ban books like that. Like, I've read some of these book ban lists, for some of these states that are trying to push that shit, for the schools or whatever. And that fucking book is on the list. And it's like, that is literally the perspective and the voice of a Jewish, boy at the time, going through the fucking Holocaust and going through multiple different fucking camps from Dachau to Birkenau to Auschwitz. I think he went through multiple camps, saw fucking, the Auschwitz uprising too, like all this shit. Like, and it's like, you want to fucking censor that book? It's like, It's like, I wonder why. Makes me wonder a little bit. I don't think we really emphasize the whole Nazi punks fuck off kind of, mentality here in this country. We did for a time, but because we kind of let it fester for a little bit before we, kind of took action on it due to the Japanese, I suppose, but whatever. But despite that, it's like, I mean, once that happened, we made sure that shit was in overdrive. Man, we didn't go far enough. Like, I mean, even in, in Europe, arguably, because, I mean, there was the wolf packs, after the war was over. Like, up until the 50s, there was, like, these paramilitary, like, far-right militia groups, pattern here, where they would basically, either do graffiti, vandalism, do kind of, small, tiny targeted strikes, but they were kind of meant to do, like, full-on guerrilla warfare, like kind of like to the level of the IRA or some shit, that we would know, right? But they never got to that point. It eventually fizzled out, but it's like but they did still leave a mark, and they had like a very, specific rune that they would use because like they pretty much, were the last of like the SS or like some of the most loyal to Nazis that were still sticking around and wanted to kind of keep the fight going because the war never ended in their eyes. And it's like, we never, cracked down on that shit. We allowed some of them to have little pardons and exemptions because it would help us, with rocketry or science or something. Even though they stunted their own fucking, selves and their own asses because, they wanted to forego Jewish science or some shit for their own Germanic Aryan science. So like their fucking voice means shit. It's like if they're willing to basically like have their own stunted weird mysticism, science and shit interwoven into actual science, and their voice means fuck all. But we gave pardons to generals in the West, and to a lesser extent, even in the East. Like there were literal like SS, slash like Nazi party members, that were in politics and government, in the local and within the states, and also within the military ranks. Like, I mean, like it was a whole, like, we gave a lot of leeway to a lot of these motherfuckers, and I wonder why that shit tended to fester for so long. And now we're starting to reap the seeds of that shit. Now that they've been fertilized and fester for so long. Curious. See how that works out. give pardons and kind of give exceptions to some of these hardcore ideologues because, they have some value somewhere or some shit down the line. And, hey, what do you know? Like, continues to solidify, continues to grow, and continues to become like a major influence, in the broader modern politic and shit. And this is kind of what happens. It's like you get a lot of this far-right extremism bubbling back up because it was able to go underground and, if anything, interweave itself into a more civil perspective. I mean, look at the fucking Southern strategy. There's a whole quote of like, you can't just, I think it was like what, George Wallace or some shit. I forgot who exactly said it, but it was like, but it was like a quote. It's like, you can't just go around saying the N-word, 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 N-word. You have to be like, you have to look at like the crime rates or something. You have to look at like, you can't like, act a certain way or some shit. They always would undermine it and like use dog whistles. And now we're at the point today where it's just like, they don't even give a fuck about that no more. They wear it on their fucking sleeve.
I managed to cover the cat's ass. I didn't have enough for smokes. I got litter and a can of food, so you should.
Here you go.
Thank you. I'm tired of smoking them butts from 2 years ago.
Oh my god. Okay, well, just give me till Thursday. I'm fucking buy a pack or something. Go back to when you meet these people and you've just been partnering and go like, yeah, no. Yeah. I know some people kind of question this too as well when it comes to Mussolini too, by the way. But there was a time where Mussolini almost tried to, I think it was like an attempt to escape, but the communist partisans at the time caught him, trying to escape and pretty much gunned him down with his wife and with a few other higher ups in his administration as they were trying to escape and shit. And they basically gave him a tour of Rome, for all the citizens, to be presented, and straight up, like, fucking, was literally beaten, fucking, like, stabbed at, like, I mean, look at the final picture where he's strung up on a fucking power line. I mean, it's like, it's straight up mutilated. Like, because the entire Italian people were just like, we're done with his fucking regime. And also look at that fucking, like, the, interior, the Ministry of the Interior or some shit, with the building with his fucking face where it just says C, just endlessly on his fucking wall. Like, he was a fucking tyrant in his own right. Honestly, arguably, due to his incompetence, maybe nowhere near as much so, but arguably at least kind of more this is kind of debatable, I think, just due to the quantity and I guess lack thereof, but the quality and like how competent, at least, the regime of the Nazis in Germany were about everything. But like when it came to the destruction, that the Italians did under Mussolini's regime, they were kind of going on for a little longer than, Hitler's regime too, for example. Like they had the Ethiopian-Italia war, to try to colonize Ethiopia, and the war crimes that they committed there were fucking maddening. And the main reason why is because their army was just too fucking incompetent and is literally a meme. It's a joke. Even to like, history nerds and shit, even I think even to right-wingers in that sphere, they see it as a joke. They see it as a meme. And there's always memes about how like the Italian army during World War II was just a bunch of fucking incompetent fucking idiots. Like weirdly enough, they had decent equipment. It's just that like their military tactics and doctrine were just obsolete and just stupid and didn't make sense. And just were inadequate and never had the proper training and shit, basically. And also never knew real combat. They couldn't even go after fucking, Greek farmers in, Crete and shit, dude. They had to get the fucking, Fallschirmjäger to fucking help them out. It's like, damn, bro. And even then, the Fallschirmjäger, even in that, campaign, they fucking, like, took an ass whooping. I mean, Crete, was like another time where even the Germans kind of got their asses whooped and kind of blamed Italy for it because, like they could have made a joint campaign and made it easier, but Hitler literally, like, I think if I remember, literally like kind of like dressed down and like, yelled at Mussolini for it. It's like, because of how competent and how much of a dipshit he was. Like he was always like, even Rosetta, it's like he was literally the third wheel, dude. used to be a war comedy movie about that. Dude, they're totally... Oh my God, you're right, bro. Dude, there needs to be a war comedy in the perspective of Mussolini and his foibles and how much of a dipshit he was, dude. Oh my God, dude, that would be awesome. Make it kind of like a Jojo Rabbit style kind of like comedy or some shit, dude. Do some serious, real drama shit a little bit and just like make it from the respect. Oh, dude. Oh, bro. Oh, that's actually, dude, that's a good idea, bro. Oh, that would be a good movie. That would be a legit a good movie. I mean, honestly, that would be fun, funny, a little serious, a lot of political social commentary, but you got like the comedy aspect of things, dude. That would be a genuinely good movie, dude. This crack pipe is insane. This lighter is ridiculous. It doesn't even have fuel anymore, but somehow it's still lighting. Okay, this thing is like possessed. This is a possessed lighter. Honestly, speaking of like World War II, like movie pitches, you want to know, like, not in a comedy sense, but in like an actual kind of like war drama kind of film. You know what type of movie that should be made about? The Greek partisans in World War II, dude. Because like I watched like one of these map channels where it's like depictions of the Greek partisan uprisings of World War II or whatever. Like I saw a video about that, and honestly, like it is kind of wild about what the fuck was going on during World War II in Yugoslavia and Greece, during that time, because like there was multiple different factions of partisans, and a lot of them were collaborators and worked together, but there was like some that wanted to like establish their own like kind of fascist Greek Empire thing. It was like the first Hellenic League or some shit like that. And then there was like a strong leftist partisan uprising of like communist trade unionists and workers and shit. And during the whole uprisings and shit, at least when it came to looking at the map, like Greeks almost legitimately probably at the war's end, if the US or the USSR and UK didn't fuck around with it immediately after the war and shit, after the first Greek Civil War, like honestly Greece would probably legit been of like a leftist state established as like at its own time during that period. I mean, it is kind of wild what the fuck Greece, was going through during World War II, because there's a lot of shit going on during that time. And I think, having a movie in a perspective of like some, Greek partisan, in one of these movements, during World War II would be a really cool movie and shit, to like kind of like, get an understanding about the geopolitics, of that time, and the struggle that was going through that. Cause it's not, like a lot of people talk about like the Warsaw uprisings, the French partisans and resistance movement and shit, like different partisans, in like Eastern Russia, or like in Eastern like Europe, when it comes to like Belarus, Ukraine, etc. But no one ever really mentions about Yugoslavia or Greece, and there was a lot of shit going on during that time. Even like the Norwegian partisans get a little more recognition than that region. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened over there. A lot of insane shit. Soldiers fire but misses to shoot the sky, then falls back on me. Meanwhile, on Greece farmers, hey, do you hear that? Hear what? Nothing. I don't really hear much. Oh, you know what? At least for the Mussolini movie, you want to know who should direct it? Tarantino, dude. Like, I would want to pitch a script to him and be like, hey, you do whatever you want with the script and work with the foundations of the script, but I want you to direct it. Make it like an Inglourious Basterds style kind of comedy too, a little bit, because he's already done like a World War II movie with that. Because I'm kind of watching that because it's free on YouTube right now because someone uploaded that shit. So I just been like watching that the last couple days, just checking that out. So I mean, for me, I'm gonna kind of get back into that movie a little bit, and I'm just like, man, Tarantino, I think would. Now I'm thinking about, he would be a good director for making a movie like that. I mean, unfortunately, we would have to kind of like jump, some parts of the timeline, I think, just for timelines. Because I'd want it at most to be a 2.5 hour movie. Like, I don't think it should go any longer than that, because that's really stretching it. I'd realistically want it to be like 2 hours. Maybe like a director's cut being like 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 40 minutes or something. But like, I definitely want, to at least, have like, his rise to power and what inspired him, that being like the first 25 minutes ish. And then like the next 30 minutes is like his, campaigns in early war with the Italia-Ethiopia war and shit. And then from there, like the next like 40-ish minutes is like about, well, the next like 30-ish minutes, 40-ish minutes is about like his foibles of, the campaigns in World War II. And then like the last little bit is his downfall, where he's in northern Italy with his, like, and then southern Italy being like ally controlled and all this other shit. And his eventual demise. And also the credit scenes should show the original reels of Mussolini being dragged around Rome and shit. Like the end reel, the end credit scenes should have like some real footage of like, some time during, World War II and shit, during that period. With Mussolini and stuff. Like, I think it would be a really cool like contrast a little bit to kind of give like a sense of like, it's all fun jokes, it's meant to be a comedy and stuff, but there's a commentary we're mentioning here. Plot should basically be copying Coyote and Roadrunner. Mishaps destroyed the army. Meanwhile, the farmers are just totally unaware of what's going on. Yeah, dude. That would actually be pretty funny. I mean, if we're thinking about at least like kind of having the movie depicted around like his invasion of like Ethiopia and Greece and stuff, I mean, because I'm thinking about like his whole rise and fall and shit. I'm thinking kind of like a whole banger with it. But I mean, even in like the whole like arc of his regime and shit, I mean, that could easily be incorporated into it. In fact, honestly, I was already thinking of that anyway. Be like, oh yeah, there's spaghetti being manufactured over on the coast or something. I don't know, and spaghetti and meatballs are falling from the sky. I don't know. What do you want? One of the soldiers is covered in soot in his uniform. Saturday soldier. You think you're wilderness war, farmer? There's a war going on? I just thought that you were some robber baron trying to fucking steal my bread. Fuck you. Boom, just shoots him with a shotgun. God damn it, it's got clogged. Boo. Boo. There we go. I should fix it. There we go. Doggo. Yeah, what are you doing, little hoe? You still use, right? Lately, I've been recommending a bunch of ridiculous right-wing subs. Yeah, I still use Reddit. Also, a Tinker sub for good measure. I just honestly haven't been active on it yet that much, with my new phone. So I just haven't done it yet. Even better, it's like a broken soldier. Fine, you won. You're smarter than us. We are not the match. Then he throws his gun at the farmer's feet, and the farmer's like, "What the hell are you talking about, you fucking weirdo? Oh, what the fuck are you talking about, you fucking weirdo?" just, picks up, the fucking Carcano rifle and it's like, thank you for the free hunter rifle. I think they're really pushing extreme subs for ad revenue or something. Wouldn't necessarily be too surprised, man. I mean, like, the algorithm loves to, kind of be right-leaning in general when it comes to a lot of the fucking shit that likes to be pushed. Because when it comes to shit like that, the whole game is always rigged. When it comes to shit like that. And speaking of rigged in games, I kind of don't get why Logan freaked the fuck out a little bit about, like, the idea of the NFL being kind of a little bit rigged. And it's like, dude, it's always been kind of like an open secret, bro. Like, I mean, dude, like, I mean, what, like, you don't know that? I mean, it's like, and if that's the case, and especially when it comes to, like, like McVan with, like, WWF and shit, pretty much having that as, like, basically masculine soap opera and shit. I mean, it's like, you don't think, that has an overlap in a lot of these other leagues and shit? It's like, I mean, dude, I was like, come on. It doesn't mean that, like, it always goes inherently like this, specifically like a certain way every time. But it's like, there's, like, when there's money made in that type of shit, I mean, obviously things are going to go a certain direction, when it comes to maximizing, the coffers of certain people that especially got the fuck you money. I mean, when it comes to, like, commerce, real estate, sports ain't no different, and a lot of other shit. It's like, I wasn't even trying to be, like, hostile about it either. It was just like, I mean, that's why it was, like, kind of like, okay. It's not like sports aren't fun, but shit, bro. Don't need to be triggered over it. There's some weird thing, it's something called COVID 2019 or something like that. There are anti-vax pro masks or something and believe that COVID-19 could be used to abolish capitalism. What? That does not. Are you sure that's like a tanky sub? What the fuck? They're anti-vax but pro-mask. So wait. You're kind of breaking my brain with that one. Like, what? So they're like, fuck the pharmaceutical industry, which I guess I can understand, but vaccines is literally the one thing where that's actually, like, is beneficial not just to them, but to us and to literally everyone else. Because if they want, like, little pay pigs to fucking buy into their bullshit and all that stuff, they kind of need to at least make sure the health is at least in somewhat decent standing. And if there's a virus that's like, like COVID or anything else, that's fucking that up, it's in their best interest to push a vaccine to prevent that. I mean, even if you think about it from their perspective, it's a good idea for that shit to be pushed. I mean, from a capitalistic perspective, from just a medical perspective, from all perspectives, it's good to be pro-vax. I mean, anti-vax is literally just some weird, like, mysticism, like, Neanderthalic fucking mentality, like, ape brain shit. Like, it just is. It's just insane. It's fucking absurd and unironically, I'm saying this medically, it's retarded. The medical definition of retardation, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm putting it right there. That's what the fuck it is, because that's insane, dude. Absurd. So I'm always about, like, back when COVID was a major thing, when I was streaming on Twitch, like, I was making arguments about, like, we need the fucking, like, vax snipers, bro. We need the vax teams, of, like, little tranquilizer sniper dart guns and shit. The dart gun squads. The dart squads, bro. I was a major advocate of that shit. And honestly, if it comes down to it, I'm still an advocate for that. If there's, like, some major fucking epidemic shit that's, like, killing a lot of people and it's, like, fucking shit up socioeconomically and, and all sorts of other factors medically and, all societally and et cetera, it's just like, nah. Like, I mean, it's in the best interest of everyone to make sure they're fucking inoculated. I mean, and it should be free at the point of service no matter what, because it's in the best interest in everybody for that shit. Because at the end of the day, obviously there are exceptions, medical exceptions. Some people are allergic to certain ingredients and certain things that are, within those, vaccines and stuff. Understandable. Some people are autoimmune. There's a lot of factors as to why maybe certain people can't, but that's the reason why everyone else needs to. That's the reason why. It's like, holy shit, man. I'm kind of glad that we don't have to really worry about that bullshit, anymore as much, but dude, it always loves to creep its head back around like a fucking little weird parasitical leech, dude. Like that fucking weird, like, vaccine bullshit that they always want to, like, be like, oh, it's bad, blah, 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 or whatever the fuck their weird, like, skepticistic, like, mysticism, science garbage they want to throw. It's like, oh my God, dude. It loves to creep its little fucking head every now and then back around and be like, oh, remember me? It's like, yeah, I do, and I wish you would go away. It's like, ugh. It's like, I'm fucking sick of it. Because at this point, it's like, if you do, great. I love that. But if you don't, then fuck yourself. I hope you're the one that ends up being the biggest victim of whatever, like, virus or some shit that takes over your ass, and we all, are minimalized with the effect. Because at that point, that's on your ass. That's on your fucking ass if you don't, decide to get inoculated or get updated on your vaccines or whatever the fuck. But speaking of which, fall's coming up and all that shit. Probably a good idea for me to get, my updates on my, shots and stuff. Including with COVID as well. Because that is a good thing. Man, that's something that, a citizen partaking in society ought to be encouraged to do. I just wish our system would make it just free at the point of service no matter the fuck what, because unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it does cost money, and that's fucked. But thank America's fucking healthcare system for that shit, because they'd rather care about fucking greenbacks and money more so than the general interest of people's health. And that's a whole fucking different ball game right there. I don't even really want to get into, because that shit I've been kind of thinking about that shit lately, and that shit pisses me the fuck off right now. Especially when it comes to, like, how much that system has ingrained into people, like, oh, this is what it is, and this is the best we could do, whatever the fuck. And it's just like, oh yeah, the best we could do is basically let you fucking break your body to oblivion, to the point you can't even take care of yourself anymore, to the point that, you're just like, you're just gonna die if you're if you can't work anymore. Fuck you, basically. It's like suffer, get charity, with some food bank bullshit, hope that, you don't get tested for whatever the fuck, for fucking, like, maybe doing the one time you visit or some shit. And it's like, it's bullshit. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like, yeah, we are in a crisis with that. I mean, we're in a fucking crisis when it comes to our healthcare system, and it's fucking maddening, man. And when it comes to not just for my own self, but especially for my fucking mom, and frankly, I'm fucking glad that the Oregon State healthcare system pretty much has given her a free, clean slate. Like, she doesn't have to worry about any bills or nothing when it comes to her issues because of having to deal with cancer and due to her health conditions and shit. Because if not, we would be I can't even tell you how much in fucking debt we would be. And I say we because I would have to pitch in for that shit. I mean, it would be insane. I mean, and it's like, and honestly, it's like, I fucking think it's insane and retarded, but it's like, even for my own pops, like, it's like, there's a reason why it's kind of reluctant to go, reluctant to go to places like, in the hospital shit, because, like, it's kind of like it's like a fucking extortion racket half the time. It's like, so what the fuck is the point when it's just like, oh, I can't really actually get proper fucking service unless I'm like, pretty much going to get costed for this and that or whatever, and pretty much have to, like, rake in a fucking, all, for like half of my fucking, like, like wage or whatever, or like, whatever income I got. It's like, don't why bother? I mean, honestly, there's a reason why I think a lot of people tend to kind of like be, resistant to go to, like, the healthcare system a little bit, or to hospitals and shit like that, and kind of seek alternatives like, random Facebook health remedy groups or whatever the fuck. I kind of see why people go into that shit. Because, like, oh, if it's just cheaper to get, like, some weird health snake oil remedy bullshit, and versus spending thousands of dollars for, for some basic health care that should be entitled to you as a human fucking being. It's like, then, yeah, I don't really inherently blame those people. I just feel bad for them. I feel bad for all of us for this shit. So it's like, holy shit, man. It's like, I mean, some of them are just so TFG about it. I mean, I get that, but it's like, I mean, I do think there is kind of a balance, because like there's nothing inherently wrong for having like natural herbal like remedy stuff and shit like that. I was talking about that from earlier, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to use that as like a supplement or an alternative to basic fucking health science and like actual medical science to take care of your own fucking body and shit, that is fucking necessary. Sometimes, especially when it comes to certain ailments and shit, then that's going way too fucking far, and that's a problem. And honestly, a lot of that's just because people are just trying to find a cheaper outlet to get treatment, and that's what's fucked. We shouldn't have to rake out of our own fucking pockets, for some cheaper alternative that honestly is going to fuck us more in the long run and just make things worse. I mean, it's ridiculous. And that fucking shit is endless. Like Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk, I mean, he's told the story before. I've remembered this pretty vividly. It's just like, I mean, he's told the story of his dad, like having cancer and shit, and having that develop in his a spine in his back, and he would go to chiropractic places and shit to get his back cracked and shit like that, which in the short term make him feel better, but because of our privatized healthcare system, it was never actually able to get the proper treatment until it was too late, when it was terminally ill and he wasn't going to be able to survive it, to where it's like, oh yeah, you actually got cancer, and that's where it's been developing, and now it's spread to the point where you ain't going to make it. And it's like, and instead of actually going, getting the treatment for it, because it would cost a lot of fuck you money basically, and shit, you went to chiropractors, just to get the back cracked basically every now and then whenever you felt a little too fucked up, essentially. It's just like, I mean, like, what type of alternative is that, when it comes to helping somebody? It doesn't. It made it worse, if anything. I think it costs money for me now. I got an email from my health insurance, and I think corporate Momo Jumbo said that vaccines are no longer covered. That's fucking bullshit, dude. Fucking ridiculous. Call someone stupid idiot or moron, but none of the stupidest kindness after hearing someone say shit like transport costs COVID. Wait, that's happened before? You gotta elaborate on that one. The people have said that? Them damn trains that catch COVID, tell you what, this Chinese trannies, boy, they started to cove. No way, bro. No, that cannot be real, dude. You're bullshitting me, right? I haven't heard anyone say that, but by the way, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, okay. They were just being a little hyperbolic, but I wouldn't be surprised if, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised though. Miss some context. I know. I have. Oh my god. I'm morbidly curious of what their plan is to use COVID to bring down capitalism is. Oh, it got banned for that comment for violating rules against vaccine advocacy and defense of capitalist organizations, the CDC, on this case. The specific thread was everyone complaining about no one at the dancing wearing masks. I commented something like, the vaccination rate is like 99%, masks aren't needed. That is fucking weird and odd. I mean, I would say that, like, if you got family or friends, like, I mean, masks, I think are okay to be encouraged, for certain venues and events and stuff, but it's not a big deal anymore as far as I'm concerned. But, I mean, yeah, like most people at this point, even I think, some anti-vaxxers, not all of them, I think some of them eventually have just, like, gotten over it and just did it anyway because, like, they got it tangential with, like, their daily flu shot or some shit. Because I know people that are actually, like, okay with, like, flu vaccinations and all this other shit, but are just weirdly anti-COVID vaccines and shit. And it's like, I don't get it, but some people are like that. But I think they've gotten over that bullshit and eventually just, like, went, all right, fuck it, I'll just get it on top of my flu vax or whatever, so I don't even know. pro-mask and anti-vaccine case, they wouldn't even like RFK because he's too capitalist. Dude, like, man, those people are unironically just terminally online and brain rot. Like, they got the brain rot to every degree. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, they ain't worth anyone's time. They're just an embarrassment to pretty much everyone, their families, their friends, and everyone else. Even online, dude. I would be embarrassed for them, but I will recognize that they actually have like some dignity in their hearts and lives and shit that I actually care about, and I don't. So I don't even feel embarrassed for them. Just fuck them. What a bunch of fucking goddamn sad, terminally online weird freaks, dude. Just can't even fucking like touch grass even for a second. They can't even hike up a mountain and dip their fucking ass in the goddamn ocean for even a goddamn day. Bitches. I really hope some weird right-wing fuck doesn't see this later and hear trans people cause COVID and then run with it and then it get traced back to me and I have to be like, no, it was an accident, I'm sorry. Well, nah. We'll just say, you know, it's just gaslighting and it's just and it was all AI, made, and he's using AI to conjure, these posts and shit like that. Using AI to kind of manufacture comments and shit like that in the live chat. So don't worry about it. And even then, if they are like Ignari Gate 2025, I know, dude. Yeah, even if they say, well, he just said all this shit that I just said right there, I'd be like, nah, dude, that's the AI. It's all AI generation, dude. This whole stream is AI generated. It's actually an experimental AI stream right here. I'm sponsored by a disclosed AI company that is, working on seeing if, live stream content can be palatable via AI generation. I'm one of many channels. Just blame on AI. What about you, Robin to Spake? AI. Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're in the age of AI, right? So we could blame AI on this shit. We're at the point where we could start blaming it for that. We're in an area where we could just literally just blame shit on AI. And, just say it enough and eventually it'll just be the truth. Faust to put RFK in charge of an investigation. Trump vows to investigate translate to COVID. Oh my God, that'd be great. Dude, honestly, outside of just desperate to get as many votes as possible, because RFK Jr. endorsed Trump and was even at the rally in Arizona and all sort of shit, do you think that he's going to try to put, RFK Jr. in, the head of the EPA or some shit? What do you think? What deal do you think was made? I'm kind of curious. What do people think? When it comes to this, because I'm not gonna lie. How is RFK Jr. not the VP pick? Too little, too late. CDC probably. Ooh, yeah, the head of the CDC. Ooh, that's a good choice. If I was Trump, I'd either put him in the EPA or the CDC. Because he was a climate lawyer, at one point. So there's that. Man, I honestly do wonder, why isn't he... Dude, man, I don't know when Trump and RFK started, talking to each other and shit, but man, I really wish, weirdly enough, that RFK Jr. was Trump's VP pick. I mean, I as weird as it is, I really kind of wish that was the case. He took a chainsaw to the head of the dead whale. Wait, what? He has another scandal? He took a chainsaw to a dead whale? So some whale died and washed up on beach. He found that shit and took a chainsaw and took its head and carved its... What the fuck? First he ate a dog. He has dead brainworms in his head. Who knows what else he's done? And now he's beheaded a dead whale? Drove hours with his children in a car and a whale juice leaking in the car. What the fuck? Yo! Yo! Oh my god! Oh, dude, the smell, bro. The fucking smell, dude. Oh, no. Oh, bro. Dude, what the fuck? What? Dude, please send it to me on. Dude, send it to me on Telegram. Yeah, send it on Telegram. Don't send it here. Send it on Telegram. Oh my god. What the? I believe you. But oh my fucking god. What the fuck, dude? And then he had, like, what was it? A dead fucking deer or some shit? And then he just ditched it in the middle of New York, too? Like, what the fuck is with him, man? Is he a serial killer? Does he, like, have bodies stacked in his fucking estate or some shit? Like, what the fuck? What is this, man? Dude, what? This guy's a fucking freak, bro. Dude, what? What the fuck is wrong with him, bro? Dude, what the fuck? I'm actually genuinely, like, I can't even, dude, I can't even fathom. He beheaded a whale, had it in his car, drove for hours with his fucking children, with dead whale fermented blood gut juice just leaking everywhere. What the fuck is wrong with this man? What the fuck is wrong with the Kennedys? Dude, that Kennedy family's got a lot to answer for. I know they have disowned RFK. I know RFK Jr. has literally been disowned by the entire Kennedy family. But they got some questions to answer, man. There needs to be some questions to answer. Because what the fuck, bro? Bruh. And I saw the notification for that link. I'll read it later. I mean, I won't read it now, but oh my god, dude. I'm just... Was legit the worst presidential candidate in American history, even though he didn't last long. You know what? That is fucking saying something, bro. Because we got Trump. And we don't even need to get into that. Like, dude, you're not even wrong. I honestly am struggling to even try to question that right now, bro. Like, the worst, like, especially at least when it comes to being, you know, this third-party spoiler candidate, like, he is literally the worst fucking presidential candidate to probably exist in modern American history. None of these motherfuckers, I think, can really take the cake on this. Because, like, dude, like, what the fuck is he, bro? Like, honestly, man, what is he? The more I learn about him, the more I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with him, bro? Like, I mean, honestly, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, at the very beginning, I could kind of see the appeal, but the longer it dragged on, the worse it got, man. I feel like RFK's background is some Eldritch horror shit. No shit, bro, for real. I was born in the mountain cave, under the empty space between the stars. And when I was squeezed out, the plants in the 5 hours wilted and died. Oh my god, bro. Holy shit. Wow, bro. A repeat do-all. The Penguin. Batman returns. Oh no, dude. He returns, bro. A repeat do-all. I must contemplate the wall and spring a leak really quick. Where's the pup? Oh, he's taking a nap in there, isn't he? Yep. Wait, here, before I even do, yo, you thoughts on the RFK?
What?
RFK Jr. What are your thoughts on RFK Jr., especially with some of the random scandals that you may or may not have heard about?
Most of them involve that animal.
You wanna what? I just you probably were over. Yeah, you were just hearing me about the dead whale. I just learned about that. It's like, oh, that was a few days old. Oh my god, I'm behind times. But oh my god, yeah. And then he ate a dog, at one point, and a lot of veterinarians and animal vets and shit, confirmed that like, oh yeah, no, that is a dog. His idea that saying it was a goat is bullshit. We know what the skeleton structure of a dog and a goat looks like, kind of shit. And then he also like killed a deer, ran over it, and then like kept it in his trunk, drank a bunch, and realized he had to fly somewhere, and then literally left it in the middle of fucking New York or some shit. Or a bear, yeah, he killed a bear or some shit. I know. It's like he's such a. What is wrong with this fucking freak, dude? I'm starting to wonder if he's like secretly a serial killer and he has like bodies hidden in his basement, dude. It's like, what is wrong with this man?
Say a little bit off.
And then he's got dead brainworms in his head. It's like it's got like are the brainworms, is what controlled him or something? It's like, what the fuck is up with this man? The Kennedys got something to answer for with this man. They disowned him, but you know what? It's like they still got to answer for him. Someone came. Well, they kept him in the cage and fed him live animals. Well, I feel like RFK would be the one, doing that shit. Well, no, okay, yeah. Well, actually, of course he would. If someone came out and said RFK was possessed by a demon when he was little, but never was exercised, I'm an atheist, but I completely believe this. Actually, it makes too much sense. Yeah, it makes too much sense, bro. Good burp. If anything, like I would actually say that it kind of gives too much credibility to, like the whole Christian faith, and I don't want to give him that. I don't want to really give him that, point. So even if it makes sense and it's true, I won't even give him that. I'll still deny it. if Trump loses in the election and Trump, RFK, and a bunch of others. Bunch of others what? Other grifters flee on Epstein's jet to Hungary or some shit. They honestly probably would. And I guarantee you, like, I mean, here's, like, kind of where I'm at when it comes to, like, Trump and shit. At least when it comes to this election and shit. Like, you know, here's kind of where I'm at. I don't like Kamala, right? You know, I'm not really a fan of her. I mean, just because I'm in a blue lock state, I probably won't necessarily vote for her, but I don't know. At this point, I'm undecided, and it stands for now, I would. You know, at this point, state like that. For now. Depends on what, you know, Harris is willing to, like, you know, kind of flex a little bit from here until election day. And she's got opportunities. She's got a chance. And honestly, even with my little wee vote, I think she's likely going to win, but it's fucking neck and neck. Either way, it's like, when it comes to Trump, though, like, I'm not really inherently worried about him. I'm more worried, you know, or like, you know, his, his, like, you know, higher ups and the people around him, or like the GOP and shit. I'm more worried about the fan base. I'm more worried about like the Trump supporter, more so than Trump himself. Like, and actually, TJ puts it perfectly. I don't got Trump derangement syndrome. I got Trump supporter derangement syndrome. Like, I don't want fuck all to do with the fucking, you know, goddamn supporters. Like, they're fucking, the diehards especially are fucking insane. You know, like, but when it comes to, you know, like, you know, Trump himself, like, I mean, he's like lost it so much to the point where even his own staffers are treating him like a fucking baby, a literal toddler. I think it's at the Fred Trump stage where he's just kind of gone, and they're just kind of, you know, like, okay, here you go, just giving him like blank pieces of paper to sign and just like random shit to just kind of ramble about or whatever the fuck, and just kind of being yes men and yes women and shit. I mean, they're doing that, but it's like, I mean, it's like the energy's gone. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, he's still got the energy, I suppose, but it's just not there, you know, completely anymore. I mean, mentally, he's just gone. Just straight up. That'd be the biggest loser collection ever. Did you hear about, like, you know, Michael Lindell trying to go undercover, you know, at the DNC and shit, and literally getting roasted by children? He literally got roasted by children. He got wrecked by kids politically in the battle of ideas, dude. In the battle place in the free market of ideas, as, you know, Rave Dubin will say, literal children roasted Michael Lindell, dude, the crackhead My Pillow guy. It was hilarious. Oh my god, it was beautiful, dude. Banda Fasik. That show is so straight up embarrassing. I know, dude. I love it, though. I can't even feel bad for him because it's like, dude, you're the one who's just like endlessly going off about like the Dominion machines and shit. Like, you're the only one who could give a fuck about that anymore. No one cares. Is it known for being smart? Yeah, because he's a crackhead. I don't even think he ever recovered for being a crackhead. I just think he was able to moderate his use for a long time. And because of this Dominion 2020, whatever the fuck, you know, because of the 2020 election, he couldn't take it and just like really got back on the crack again like he used to. Like, I mean, because if you know his story and his background, the reason why he did the whole My Pillow thing is because like that was like one of his callings after being rehabilitated from, you know, recovering from being a crack addict. Like, he used to be a crackhead, like, legitimately. Like, that's a part of his, you know, life story, and that is true. So, I guarantee it to you, he never got rid of that shit. That was always a, you know, a vice that was calling his name every goddamn day, and he couldn't help himself, and probably got the more prestigious, you know, type of stuff, and probably got straight up coke, you know, for a while, but, you know, and like, now that he's in this stage, oh, he's back on the crack again. It's just like the rich man's crack. Ain't that like, you know, Ghetto Norla, you know, manufacturing some random dungy, musky ass basement crack. You know what I'm saying? Or like that Alabamian white hick hillbilly crack. It ain't that type of shit. It's a rich man's crack. Going back to cartoon shit, leaving people, just like some shit you would find in a Family Guy skit. I know, dude. I know, for real. Like, this is like a peak Family Guy skit kind of shit, dude. Undercover accepting announcement on Fox a few days before, and on Twitter and Truth Social and shit. Like, he literally announced it a few days before and made a big deal about him shaving his mustache that he grew, his iconic mustache of 30 years or whatever the fuck. It's like, bro, your mustache is like honestly the only thing that's giving you an atomic particle of respect. Like, now that it's gone, now you just look like a sad fucking embarrassment, bro. You lost the only thing that, you know, you had going for yourself. Like, straight up. Or at least for me, I got nothing to lose. Speaking of which, I did kind of do a little trim up a little bit. My shit's still a little too patchy, but hopefully by the 2025, aspect of things by this year, that should maybe hopefully change. I doubt it. I just got the shit genetics. Fuck me. The mustache was so disappointing in him that it fucked off. Dude, for real. Dude, that actually, that's what I'm rolling with. Dude, Mike Lindell is such a sad disappointment and embarrassment that even his mustache left him. Dude, I'm rolling with it now. Dude, his mustache left him, dude. His mustache had a divorce with him, bro. Oh my God, yo. Dude, let's go, dude. Dude, I'm rolling with it. That's it. That's what it is. '2020 comes on. Maybe this will be my year. Dude, imagine Michael Lindell was for president. Oh, you know what? I'm going to actually put money on it. How much you want to bet that Michael Lindell will run for president in 2028? In the primary in the Republican Party, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet, bro? I'm willing to bet that he would do it. I don't think it would go anywhere. It would basically be the equivalent of the Jeb Bush campaign in 2016, but I think he would do it. It would at least be genuinely very fucking entertaining because it would just be the comedic relief of the 2028 election, at least for the Republican side. Actually, I kind of want to ponder that question a little bit, but I want to read this before I do. Brian's watching Peter make a fool of himself. Man, Peter, I haven't felt this much secondhand embarrassment since I saw Michael Lindell lose a debate with 12-year-old. Then just points to shows the actual clip. Yeah, it doesn't even make a cartoon version of it. It just shows the legit clip. Because, Family Guy has done that. Especially with Conway Twitty. Because, Peter will always, go over to Conway Twitty and it'll just show a Conway Twitty show. I'm not going to lie. This is a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I kind of like a little, not a lot, but every now and then, I'll be, kind of in a vibe with a little bit Conway Twitty. A little bit. Because, honestly, the main reason why is because when Family Guy made their little bits, like Conway Twitty, shit, when it came to their live shows, I was like, all right, I kind of vibe with it. It's one of the few. The main reason why I think is because it was in the era of country where it didn't completely sell itself out yet. It was around the trajectory, but it wasn't there yet. I think that was why. It still had like an authenticity to it. So I'm thinking that's probably why. But just at least put that out there. I got a little guilty pleasure. Got a little Conway Twitty guilty pleasure there. It's not a strong one, but every now and then I'll think about it like, oh yeah, Conway Twitty. Just because of Family Guy. It usually kind of props up and creeps up whenever I, see some Family Guy shorts or Family Guy bits, shit. But yeah, but the little point I wanted to bring up is I'm kind of curious, who do you think is going to be running in the Republican Party in 2028? I think Doug Burgum might try to come back up again because he was kind of recognized as being a VP pick, but for until JD Vance kind of swept that up because of Elon Musk and Eric and Don Jr. and a few other people. But I'm kind of thinking it's it would probably be him, Doug Burgum. If Trump loses, I guarantee if somehow he's still alive, he would definitely be there again. But I think the energy for him, will finally fizzle out to the point where I just think he would lose some momentum to where I don't think no one's going to care anymore. But maybe dude, I can't spell the name of it. Oh, Ramaswamy, Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah, I think he'll try again. But the problem is that in this last primary, a lot of voters, even independent outlets and other people, even Walter Maston and a few others, not even right-wing outlets, but even right-wing outlets, they would ask, how do you feel about Ramaswamy? It's well, I like what he has to say, but he's an Indian. He's a brown man. The racism would somehow, overcome, whatever he would say, because it didn't matter that, what Vivek was talking about. He also wasn't a Christian either. He said he was a religious man and believed in God, but he's predominantly Hindu, but also, I guess, overlaps that with, a very vague idea of, a Christian belief system. He never specifies. So they don't like him for that. Honestly, it's one of those things where maybe not the next electoral cycle, maybe not in 2028, but in 2032, he'll still be relatively young, as because he was really young, running in the primary now. So he'll still be relatively young in 2032, at least in comparison to a lot of old geezers that'd be running the Republican Party at the time. And I think by that point, I really do think he would probably make a couple waves here and there, because a lot of these old racist boomer fucks that are oh, he's an Indian, and just will write him off for that, they would have died out by that point. And arguably in 2028, maybe that might be the case too. But I think it's far less likely. It's possible, but less likely, I would argue. I think if he wants to hedge his bets correctly, maybe he would run for Senate or some shit, or maybe run for governor. Just do that for a term and then run in 2032 as president, at least to kind of establish a record. So I don't know. I think if if he's willing to play his cards right, I think he would be able to maybe make a wave or two, in 2028, but I don't think he would really go anywhere that far. I think it would go enough to the point where he might make to the last debate stage, but I don't really, I honestly, arguably at best, he'd probably make top 3, at least in 2028. But in 2032, I don't know, man. He might be able to make enough of a wave to where he might be a genuine contender for the nominee in 2032. But I guess we'll see. It's a long time until then. JD Vance might run, but he'll probably lose the primary. Yeah, well, honestly, he might lose the fucking VP, election here when it comes to the current election now. As a VP pick. Dude, no one likes him. And honestly, I love Millions of Dead Cops right now with MDC because they literally did a silly acronym for their band name over it called Millions of Defiled Couches. And they had JD Vance with his weird awkward face and then a couch just below him. It's Millions of Defiled Couches with JD Vance there. It's dude, that's I fucking love it. If that's a t-shirt, I want that as a t-shirt actually. Millions of Defiled Couches and just with JD Vance with a couch, dude. I want that as a t-shirt so bad. damn it, I really wish that MDC was playing a show here in Portland, but they're going to be playing like the Southwest and Las Vegas, and I think in like the Midwest and East Coast here pretty soon. So they're not coming here anytime soon, sadly. They're kind of on their off period. Maybe I can find it online somewhere, because if it's a T-shirt, I'm buying it as a shirt. If not, I'll just custom make a shirt. I know there's companies out there where you can like just put a little like graphic on tee and just have it sold. Have a little custom made for yourself. Kerry Lake could run. Same with Christy Noem. Yeah, they could. RFK, yeah, he would probably run as a Republican in 2028. Oh, dude, you know what? We should take note of this. Let's see how many of these names might honestly be on the 2028 Republican primary, slots. Kerry Lake, Christy Noem, RFK Jr., J.D. Vance, fucking Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum. That's 6 already. Trump, maybe. Depending if he's even alive or not, or, whatever the fuck happens in this election. 7 right there. Krispy Kreme, maybe? I mean, he might try again. Who else? You know what? Curveball. Matt Gaetz, maybe? That's 9. One of these, more like moderate Rhino Bush era style Republicans might try to make a run for it. Like, do you think? Let's see. Which one would be a good contender? Doug Burgum's too boring. Yeah, but I mean, his name is still like. I mean, he would like if it wasn't J.D. Vance, he was going to be the VP for Trump. Like, so. I mean, that's why I say his name, because, I mean, he's somewhat of a national recognized name, even though, yeah, he is boring and a lame duck. And look, I'm saying these names, but that doesn't mean I think they're inherent contenders. I just think they might be names that are going to try to put their fucking name in the race. Are they going to go anywhere? Probably not. Like Doug Burgum, I don't expect him to go anywhere. Same with Chris Christie either, because his campaigns, from 2015 to 2020, like his campaigns have always been pretty lackluster. I mean, honestly, there's a weird like maverick side of him, because I remember back in 2015 where he knew he was going to lose and he just went all gas, no brakes, and fucking grew some balls out of nowhere and called out Marco Rubio for being a robot and all this other shit. Like he's got a little fire goose butt to him, and I think honestly, if he just stuck with that, like he would be a genuine good contender. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of got a weird soft spot for Krispy, Kreme, a little bit for the Krispy Kreme. But, I mean, he's still a piece of shit. I don't like anything about his politics. Jersey fucking mafioso, union busting fucking bitch boy, like elite bourgeois fuckball. Like, I don't like him. But I kind of respect his gootsbutt a little bit. When he's willing to when he's willing to fling that fucking palooza out there. Like, he's willing to throw the palooza out there, like, I kind of respect it, but he's still a little bit of a bitch. So, I don't know. It's a weird, odd, like selective respect. Because, see, I mean, he's willing to fucking throw it out there, but he's still kind of a bitch sometimes. And that's disappointing, because I know he's got the palooza for it. And every now and then, he could be a decent little maverick, I think, especially to the more far-right extreme side of, like, his own party. So, I mean, I think he could at least, position himself as, like, a John McCain-style, like, Republican now, since McCain ain't thing anymore. So, honestly, I think that's, like, really what Chris Christie should position himself as. It's just like, the new McCain. Just position yourself as, like, the modern McCainite, style maverick, of the Republican Party. Like, I'm this new wave. Like, I'm not the Rhino moderate style. I'm not the MAGA extreme far right. I'm a McCainite style, like, or McCainist style, like, maverick, or some shit. I don't know. Like, he can throw himself out there in a way that I think, you can, I don't know, throw something out there where I think I can at least respect it, even if I'm not going to agree with a lot of shit that's being positioned and proposed and shit. I mean, but I don't think Chris Christie, has just got the Palooza for it. Well, he does, but he doesn't got the mindset to just fucking just flop it out, even though he could. I really do think he's got the energy for that shit. He would technically be a better pick. Here's the problem though. Trump does not like Chris Christie. Ever since 2016 and, in 2020 and like throughout, the tenure of Trump pretty much being the head of the party, Chris Christie has been a thorn in Trump's side for the most part. Like, Chris Christie does not like Trump either. Like that, he honestly, politically, he would be a better pick. I do agree with you, but that would never happen because they do not like each other, and that's kind of why I'm saying I think Chris Christie could be like the next John McCain a little bit as a maverick in the party, for the Republicans, because John McCain before he passed away, was basically that thorn in Trump's side, the entire time. Like he was, in fact, he even solidified his legacy by shutting down, Trump, the Trump care or whatever the fuck it was back in 2016, 2017. It was literally like a month before he passed away where he did his infamous, fucking voted it down or some shit. Like he made he did a whole legacy established, the final hoorah kind of thing. And plus Trump, fucking shout on him. Be like, I like, my veterans who aren't tortured. Shit like that, and that's not the only thing he's fucked on veterans for either. He's called them suckers and losers too and shit. Trump has never been, a fan of veterans or, the troops and shit. And I'm not even one to fucking, go hoorah on patriotism about that shit. But I mean, I ain't gonna shit on him because it does take some balls and some respect to fucking go out there and fucking, risk your life, and be at, risk your life at the fucking face of the gun or the fucking bomb or whatever the fuck. I mean, I got my qualms about, how and why that shit happens, but shit, I mean, I respect people fucking putting their life on the line, when it comes to that shit. It takes a certain set of balls to fucking do shit like that. I mean, I just personally would rather pick my battles when it comes to shit like that, and it ain't worth it for me. Because I had an upbringing, where I could have done that, but thank fuck I never did. Because I didn't want, I don't want to put my life on the line of that shit. I might respect someone being able to have the balls for it, but I ain't going to agree with the, broader position of that, but I ain't going to fault the fucking vet or the fucking, soldier for that. And in fact, a lot of times they tend to get disenfranchised to realize the reality of things once they come back home. Like one of my coworkers, or my former coworkers, and one of my friends that I know, Armando, he served the fucking Iraq War, in the initial invasion shit back in 2003. And he was like a gun-ho American patriot, hoorah motherfucker, when he first got in. When he came back out, he was totally disenfranchised with that whole idea and realized it was a fucking racket and it was bullshit. So, at the end of the day, I'll never fault a fucking veteran or never fault, the reasons is enjoying the service because honestly, more often than not, they realize it's bullshit, at the end of the day when they come back home. Especially with the trauma they have to fucking endure and especially when it comes to what fucking gains they ever get. Especially when the government spits them in the fucking face when it comes to shit like the VA. When it should be an adequate, proper fucking system that gives them at least some basic entitlement and some basic pension when it comes to their healthcare and their mental health and shit, but never ever does. Or at least rarely ever does. I mean, so I never fault them. I never fault the soldier for that shit. I fault the fucking system that puts them, in that position. Or, regardless of the reason for going into it. Because, shit, man. I mean, that's the reason why I actually like McCain in a lot of ways. I mean, despite, him being a Republican, I mean, he wasn't exactly a pro-union dude or any of this other shit, but he established a fucking legacy, especially being the thorn of the fucking, side of Trump during the very early, years of his administration. It's these rhino moderate fucking Republican types, that are pretty much basically, fucking, doing a circle jerk of the DNC, fucking, jerking each other's cocks off and shit. It's do they not recognize that there's a good, populist, Maverick-esque kind of nature that they kind of prop up and build on? where even I can at least, maybe somewhat respect and get behind, to an extent of at least being a competition, an opponent, and the marketplace of ideas, so to speak, because it ain't based on this weird cultist bullshit or this weird, like, hyper partisan, like, corporate fucking divide and conquer shit and whatever the fuck. Like, I mean, because at least there's a little bit of a, like, a separation from that a little bit. And honestly, even if it is still somewhat a part of that shit, I mean, at least, it's adding, another, sphere of the influence when it comes to, like, the zeitgeist broadly, when it comes to the contemporary body politic in America, where, we can have, like, a more of a established, like, argument that isn't the same, team red, team blue bullshit. Even if it's in tandem with that shit, at least, it's being more critical to the broader strategy and shit that's going on. I mean, think about, like, these, undecided voters in the DNC and, like, with Democrats and shit. When it comes to Gaza and Palestine and when it comes to Lebanon, it's like they're doing the same shit. I mean, Republicans are kind of doing that too, to a certain extent, but honestly, not in the way to where it's going to be palatable, because, like, a lot of those rhinos are just slowly but surely just moving towards the Democratic Party. Like, they just are, because of just the whole, quote, anti-Trump factor. But if they want to kind of, like, revive their party again, they should kind of take that McCain style, like, maverick, Republican, politic, and shit, that when he was around, and even when he was running for president, say what you want about Sarah Palin or whatever the fuck, she was a kook, but frankly, she looks way more sane in comparison to the Republicans today. So it's like, shit, I mean, it's like, I'd rather have that versus this, it's like when it comes to, like, the Republicans that we're facing, because, yeah, we could laugh and goof on them. We could dread about, like, certain shit they may or may not do, but at least they ain't going to be existential to, like, the country or to our lives or whatever the fuck, it's like, ugh. They're trying to make the Democratic Party more conservative, and they already have. And that's the fuck thing. Like, when it comes to border policy, they're really, genuinely, at this point, not that much different from the fucking Republicans when it comes to advocating on that policy. Like, at DNC, they had a bunch of, border agents, sheriffs, cops, like, and they're, like, being the hyper pro cop, pro military, pro border, like, they're stealing shit basically from, like, Bush era Republicanism, from the Republican Party. Like, they're basically taking a lot of the core shit that a lot of Republicans love to fucking galvanize about, like the vets, the cops, and the border, like the big three when it comes to what a lot of conservative-leaning Americans, tend to talk about and shit. They're jacking it from the Republicans, instilling those arguments and adopting that shit in a lot of ways. And it's like, I mean, the fucking nominee is a cop, a prosecutor. I mean, it's like, I mean, they're just, like, adopting a lot of this Republican shit. Even Biden was, like, literally trying to do an olive branch and had a speech being like, I'm, saying to Donald Trump, it's like, we could work on a border policy bill, Jack. Like, he did that fucking shit the same day that Trump was doing a fucking speech at the border somewhere else, like in a different state. It's like, Democrats better on the border and immigration, my fucking ass. So give me a fucking break of that bullshit. Let alone fucking when it comes to Gaza or fucking, like, their rhetoric on police or the rhetoric on the military or on this other shit. Forget that fucking shit. I mean, it's like, weren't the Dems, like, the ones that are all about open borders and, like, being a lot more lenient and laissez-faire about the border and shit, and oh no, now they're just literally adopting Republican RNC policies as an olive branch. Like, a bipartisan olive branch, like, that's going to be worth the fucking, like, the Republicans ain't even going to take that, and accept that shit. They never will, because, they ain't the ones who did it. Even Trump basically was the one who pretty much, crushed that whole bipartisan border bill and shit. Because, like, it's not going to be the Republican Party, it's not going to be me that is doing it and taking the credit. It's going to be Biden and Democrats, and I don't like that, so shut it down. It's like, that's what he did. It's fucking on record. It's like, I ain't fucking lying on that shit. The Republicans literally would have passed that fucking bill If it wasn't for Trump basically, shutting it down because, the Republicans and he would not be able to take credit for it. Biden and the Democrats would be taking credit for it and congratulating Republicans for being bipartisan and giving the olive branch to them, versus the other way around. When the truth is, we're just like, oh yeah, we're, like going to be friendly with you. We're going to be, friendly and give an olive branch to you. But, oh no, it's actually you giving an olive branch to us. It's like, no, it's not. Democrats have been given, rationing themselves to the right. Frankly, even before W, Clinton was kind of the one who helped establish the triangulation effect that ratcheted us, further to the right when it comes to the Progressive Democratic Party. It's like, it's called the triangulation effect. Clinton established that shit. That's why the DNC is the way it was, and it is now. I guess up until now, it kind of grew somewhat of a backbone, but even then, is that enough? Is it going to grow more of a backbone? Because it needs a lot more than this. That's for fucking sure. Especially when it comes to, like, Israel, Gaza, and Lebanon, too. I'm out of Lebanon at this point because, like, the most recent, like, political news I've been reading recently is because of Israel, like, escalating shit and tensions with Lebanon. And like the peak of like the conflict in like the last like 30, 40 fucking years in Lebanon when it comes to Hezbollah and Israel is reached an all-time fucking high over this fucking weekend. It's like they meaning the Israeli government and Netanyahu, they just want fucking blood, and they want nothing more than just to fucking establish their holy, greater Israeli state, the religious ethno state, and nothing more. Like that's all they want. And it's fucking wild and insane that there are people still fucking just can't get that for the fucking head. It's like, how much like oppression has to continue going? Like this started with the first Nakba. I mean, it's like hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and other indigenous ethnic folk from the region were persecuted and fucking cleansed out of their fucking homes and their fucking towns and shit. And settled out of their, homes back in the first Nakba, and this was back in 48. So this shit's been going on for fucking what, like 80 years almost now at this point? It's insane. It's like, I mean, it's like there needs to be a strong fucking line in the sand with this shit at some point. So I'm not even against the idea of a state of Israel, but it's like, honestly, at this point, maybe there needs to be a united state of Palestine and Israel, some shit. I want to say solution, but in a sense where it's like, it forcibly, makes these people collaborate. It makes them fucking actually talk to each other and put a fucking foundation. It's like, you're talking to each other. We're selling whatever the fuck grievance are, via politics, and everyone gets a fucking equal say and an equal vote. And if there's any resistance, then there's at least, international via the UN, government oversight to crack down on any dissonance that says, that is willing to fucking, like rise up against, this equal, voice, the politics being established when it comes to a newly established government. Because I think that's the only way to fucking really truly solve this shit. Because it's going to take a while for a lot of this tension to go away. But I mean, it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. Like sometimes you got to kind of deal with the pain a little bit for it to truly heal after ripping the Band-Aid off, kind of thing. It's like, it's going to be scar for a while, but it's like, got to let it heal over, and it needs to happen now because it's getting gangrenous. It's getting to the point where gangrene is going to set in, and once that happens, it's going to take way too much effort to really fix this shit in the short term. And the fucking scary thing is that, like, Israel's generally trying to kind of egg America into a fucking war with Iran. And Iran's got a close tie with Russia, and Russia's already in a war with Ukraine right now for fucking way too fucking long as it is, for like 2+ fucking years. And, we as a country, the United States has a very close tie to Ukraine, along with the rest of the European Union and NATO. And what, you don't think all this is going to start, combining into one big thing? I mean, think about how World War I started. It started with the assassination of some archduke because, like this, some Serbian national fucking straight up, killed Archduke of Austria, and Serbia happened to be, connected to Russia as a political ally, and it became a domino effect. this is what the fuck, it's the same pattern. Honestly, I mean, I know this Godwin's all about World War II and like Hitler and all that, blah, 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 and all that shit. I get that. But honestly, there's like a fucking Great War law kind of thing that we kind of ought to look at. Like the Archducal, you know, like the Ferdinand law or some shit. Instead of Godwin's law, but it's like the Ferdinand law, you know, but for World War One. Because there's some patterns of that shit too. There's some patterns of how both of those fucking Great Wars started. The First and the Second Great War. It's like there's patterns in the modern contemporary, you know, rhythmic historical pattern that is kind of going on with that shit, and it's fucking really too freaky. It's a slow burn, but it's freaky to kind of see it in real time, I guess, you know? Outside around you needs to stay the fuck out of it. 100%. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I would be a dissident. I would be, you know, a fucking objector in the entire thing. If they tried to draft my ass, I'd say go fuck yourself. I'd fucking hide in the goddamn fucking mountains for all I give a shit. Like, seriously, like, fuck that. Like, I mean, I ain't dealing with that bullshit. I ain't gonna go fight, you know, that fucking, you know, like some religious ethnic war, you know, in the name of some other nation. Like, fuck that. I could go die in the fuck, you know, in fucking Persia, you know, just because, you know, like the greater state of, you know, Israel, because of evangelicals and Zionists, you know, want to fucking like, you know, make me die, the proletariat die in their fucking name, whether my, you know, the proletariat of America or of Israel or Lebanon or any of these fucking countries, Iran, etc. Like, I mean, fuck that shit. Or the proletariat of Ukraine and Russia or of Europe too, in this fact, because if shit pops off because of Israel and Iran officially declare war, that is going to be the official war establishment of World War III. Because do you think Russia's just going to like be hands off of that when their ally Iran gets fucked? It's once that domino effect happens, it's over. It like honestly, the whole idea of like, oh, nukes might pop off is going to be really fucking quick as a reality. It's going to be really fucking serious or really quick. I honestly, I guess the lucky thing is that we, you know, China might honestly just fuck off from it all. Like, because, I mean, China's definitely got, like, you know, some bets to play in a game like that. But they're going to probably honestly just be hands off on the entire thing. In fact, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they have, like, you know, they do, like, what happened in, you know, Spain when it came to, like, Germany and Russia and all these other countries, you know, sending volunteers and basically making a proxy war. I wouldn't be surprised if China sends, like, volunteer regiments on both sides, you know, to just like maximize their own profit and expand their own economy over it. China might just be playing as smart as fuck and just not even touch that shit with 10-foot pole. Even if nukes are launched, they would just be like, nope, we're going to minimize the damage in our region. We're going to make sure we prosper from the wasteland of Earth, you know? Dude, like, if that happens, oh, they're going to be like the mega power of Earth. Like, you might as well say United Earth is basically the Chinese regime now at that point. Start learning Mandarin. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, dude. I guarantee you they are going to be hands off if World War III kicks off and shit. I mean, honestly, I will say, like, when shit hits the fan enough, I think if shit escalates to a certain point, they'll jump the gun and maybe hit Taiwan and start expanding in their region. But they're going to make sure that the resources and shit like that are drained from all sides before they even do shit like that. They're definitely going to be hands off for quite a while before they start, you know, making their own expansions. Because honestly, I will say this. Out of all the superpowers right now, China is honestly the smartest when it comes to playing the long-term game. So I really do believe that they're going to probably be very wise to avoid World War III and shit like that. Because, like, I mean, especially when it comes to Israel and Palestine and Lebanon, and I guess to a lesser extent Iran and shit, like, that shit's getting really fucking serious. And if that pops off, then World War III pops off. I mean, there's a pattern to this type of shit. I mean, there's been major global conflicts, you know, that has started due to domino effects like this. So it's like, or at least massive regional conflicts and shit, right? So it's like, these are things that I kind of consider, and it's like this, this it ain't looking good. I mean, that's why I'm at least trying to, like look at like the broader politic when it comes to the proletarian and working class issues and shit, because like the more that we can kind of pressure our own governments and in those actions and shit and in that broader politic of things, like then I think a better chance that we have, of our own governments to fuck off from these issues and, maybe be able to avoid the disastrous, conflict that, could come from these issues. Because there is an outlet to this shit. It's like, I'm not saying it's inevitable that this shit's going to happen, because it ain't. But, all in all, it's like, I mean, it's not really looking good. And I don't like that. I mean, that's why I try to be optimistic about it when it comes to the labor front, kind of the broader proletariat kind of front of issues and these things, because like not only do I really just care about that just for our own general well-being, but because I do think that it's always been a broader political agitation to the status quo, into the military-industrial complex, into to the broader system of being against the average person. I mean, even World War One to a certain extent ended because sailors and dock workers got together, trade unionists, dock workers, shit, and military sailors from the German Empire and shit at the time got together and agitated and did the sailors' mutiny. It was a worker base and a broader military backed coup basically against the German government to force a peace deal in the war, because it was just basically a slaughterhouse, and even the counteroffensive at the time just it didn't help anybody, and it just basically drained the resources of the German Empire at the time. And it didn't just spread to the German Empire either. As soon as the word spread of that spread very fucking quickly within the French and the British and even the Belgians and shit, like that shit spread like wildfire pretty quick, and even led to like a lot of trade unions, the communist revolutions in Germany and France and shit like that at the time. Like it led to a massive socialist wave and a leftist wave in politics in Europe after the war and shit. And the Great Depression, silver lining about that is it galvanized that shit way further. It just added way more fuel to that fucking fire. I mean, before the Nazis took over in Germany, like the second biggest party that was on the rise in Germany was the Communist Party of Germany, and with Ernst Salman. And it's like, and they were like the biggest dog outside of the Nazis, essentially. And it got pretty fucking close when it came to galvanization. But Hitler was a little bit too much of a charismatic fuck, and he manipulated people enough to where he sold enough snake oil, to win the day. But at the same time, he also galvanized a lot of traditionalists and a lot of monarchists and old conservatives and shit as well. So he had a lot more of an influence of that too, which honestly, frankly, played a strong role into it. Communists aren't exactly going to be fond of like imperial German generals and like folks like von Hindenburg and shit like that. They're going to tend to say they could go fuck themselves and avoid them. So they didn't really have the the influence that they had, to be able to galvanize them as much. But even without that, they got pretty fucking close. Interesting how like the tides could have changed pretty quick, just based off of like certain aspects of history. So I'm kind of an alt history nerd, because shit like that is always fascinating to learn about. Like what if Ernst Salman was like the one who was the chancellor or like the minister of Germany or whatever, like the leader of Germany instead of Hitler and shit. Like World War II probably wouldn't happen, and even if it did, it would be against Germany and the Soviet Union, if you think about it. And arguably, if Germany went communist in the 30s, then arguably Trotsky probably would have still been alive and maybe would have took over the Soviet Union at the time. Because Trotsky was pretty fond and and had close relations with a lot of different international communist movements, and especially in Latin America and Western Europe and shit. The Fifth National that Trotsky led was in Paris. So, I mean, he was very fond of the permanent revolution and expanding, that revolutionary rhetoric and that philosophy all over the world. And that included Germany too at the time. So there's a strong chance that, Trotsky could have been able to seek refuge, and maybe Germany would have had a small conflict with Stalin potentially. And then, afterwards, would have be able to, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's hypothetical, maybe potentially try to broaden that revolution, so to speak. Because I know France was going for a very strong trade unionist leftist movement at the time, before World War II as well, and even in the UK, it was a really big thing going on before the Nazis took over, essentially. If anything, honestly, literally, if it wasn't for the fucking Nazis, there literally would have been a full workers leftist European movement, that would have happened, a syndicalist style leftist movement. Honestly, because at the time, the UK, England, Germany, a lot of these countries are going for a lot of this struggle and strife where these movements are making a lot of leeway and a lot of traction. And it's in the train of that it was just going stronger and stronger in a lot of these places, a lot of these areas in Europe and in Latin America and a lot of these other regions of the world in general. And it's and this is the reason why fuck Nazis even more. It's they literally just pretty much postpone all the shit to the point where it end up being no, we're pretty much going to have a lesser of two evils kind of thing going on. And then we're going to once we destroy them, and we pretty much kill off any, leftist movement in all these other countries, because we all will stand together for a little bit, but slowly but surely we'll purge everyone off, and all this sort of shit. It's man, if only, dude, the fucking Nazis, bro, these, we're in the time, dude, you know what? We're in a timeline where it's if the Nazis were a thing, that would be the best timeline, because they fucked everything up. I swear to God, dude, they were the ones who originally, I swear, the break of the timeline was when they existed, and they founded themselves as a thing, because I swear to God, bro, they fucked everything up, and they made it so our timeline is what it is now. Fucking bastards. That fucking British soldier bastard fuck that was in World War I that saw Hitler and aimed his rifle, and it was I'm just an innocent little bitch boy, no, and had his hands up. It's nah, it's war, baby. War never changes. Just go. Is he alive still? Bayonet. One more round. Now you're dead. All right, move on. Move on and find another crowd. It's God damn it. I blame that British motherfucker. In fact, funny enough, I forgot his name, but he's had legit weird moral qualms about it. Initially he was nah, I had chivalry and blah blah blah. I never expect not being able to kill him. And then he realized it was Hitler, and then after that it's nah, I wish I killed the bastard. But then later in his life he kind of revoked it, and it's nah, history is what it is, and I just want to change it or whatever. And it's man, nah. I just think you just got a moral qualm about it, and you struggle with it in your entire life, and you're just trying to justify it. Nah, I blame your ass, bastard. Of course, it's a British monarch, royal little bastard too. It's a Brit, so God damn it, bastard. I recognise there's going to be a man that's going to try to colonise all Europe, and I can't like that. I'm Brit, so I'm alright with that by proxy. Son of a bitch. Tulsi Gabbard has completed a transformation to right-wing grifter hack. She endorsed Trump. She left the left. I love how like a lot of progressive lefty types, basically were like simping for Tulsi Gabbard just because she was like a dominant mommy. Because look, yeah, she's kind of cute and attractive. Like I will admit that, but like, bruh, her politics make her kind of like an ugly fuck, and I don't like her. Look, as a person, she is attractive, and maybe personally, maybe she's okay, but her politics are trash, and that makes her kind of trash. So fuck her. And I'm not really surprised by that at all. Like whatsoever. I'm not surprised by that, like whatsoever. I mean, she was already kind of like on the right wing Republican grift, for a while now. Because of the Hindu nationalist crap. Yeah. Like, I mean, when she first, kind of like went on the national sphere back in like, what was it? Like, it was like 2020, right? Like in that campaign. Like, I was initially kind of willing to forgive that because, like, yeah, she has like this weird nationalist foreign politics kind of thing where she maybe wants to like, minimize, American interventionism, but like support by proxy other governments that are willing to do interventionism in like America's favor. Like I was, because she was never like an anti-war candidate. As much as some lefties and other people wanted to say that, she never was, and I recognize that. But arguably, I suppose at least at that time, she was advocating herself as like better about that shit than others. Which I mean, I was one of the sellers, for me a little bit. But I mean, it didn't take me long, for me to realize that she was just another sneaky old salesman. Honestly. I mean, so I was on the train, on the Gabbard train for like 2 seconds, but after that, I was like, nah. She's attractive and and all that stuff. There were certain things, at least initially, that her politics I was like okay with, but give it enough time, her true colors show, and now they do completely. Like she's just kind of completely masked off, and she's just a Joe Manchin style Republican-esque Democrat, right-wing Democrat. So fuck her. She's not even like in politics anymore. She's not even a congresswoman. So, like, what the fuck she's gonna be doing? Like, what? Oh, do you think she might run in 2020 as a Republican? Ooh, add that to the roster, dude. She might. I ran as 2020 as a Democrat, but I realized that when it came to the woke agenda, because she bitches about that a lot too. Oh my gosh, she's good. I'm actually willing to fucking put money on that right now, dude. I'm willing to put like $50 on that bitch right now. She's gonna run 2028 about how she used to be a Democrat until the woke agenda, took over the Democratic Party and she left the left and became a Republican. Oh my fucking God, I'm calling it. Oh yeah, that's a good candidate. Oh dude, yeah, you want to join me on that? We need someone to bet against with though. Fuck, cause dude, I guarantee you, bro. Oh, there will be Republicans, especially because of RFK. Oh, dude. Dude, I bet you will. Oh my God, I'm actually more convinced than ever now. Dude. Let's go, dude. I bet. And I want to bet somebody. I want to bet against someone. Oh, man. Maybe I should hit up Venom about this. Or maybe Mornax. Somebody. I want to bet somebody against this. I'm willing to actually put money on this one. It's a long-term bet, but long-term gamble. But I'm willing to put money on that shit. Because, ooh. And thing is, the bet has to. Here's how I'll actually even establish the basic parameters. Not only does she have to run, but she has to run on the at least in some point in her rhetoric and her argument. Is that like the basic argument is that like essentially is that I used to run. I ran in the Democratic Party in 2020 because I thought I could bring balance and compromise. As a Democrat or whatever. Some shit like that. I don't know. Some whatever the fuck. Some shit like that. But then she comes out and says, "But I left the Democratic Party because of the progressive woke agenda." Like, that has to be brought up at some point. That's the parameters. She has to bring up the woke agenda as a reason as to why she decided to run as a Republican to become a Republican instead of a Democrat. If she gives any other reason, doesn't count. If she doesn't even mention it, doesn't count. She, if she runs, that in itself doesn't count. She has to say that it's because of the woke agenda, the progressive woke agenda. That has to be the parameters. That's the basic rule. Like, I mean, it's not just her running and all such shit. It has to be her running because at least it could be everything else. She could say everything else, but one of them has to be because the Democratic Party became too progressively woke or too woke, too progressive, whatever the fuck. If it has anything to do with like DEI, wokeism, transgenderism, queer people, literally anything that has to be tangential to woke, that's it. That's all that's needed. We need a referee too. We need like a nonpartisan, independent referee for this as well. Because they're honestly, I think legitimately, I'm able to even think about this at a time. It's like, I think there might be something that she might say to where it could be a dog whistle. To where maybe she doesn't overtly say it's because of wokeism or shit like that, but she implies it in some way to where it's not overt, to where I might sniff it out. I can sniff it out a little bit, but maybe the other person's like, no, and it's like, and so I don't know. I'm putting a pin on this because legit, I'm willing to put money on it. And you know what? At the end of the day, if she never runs or any of that shit, then hey, $50 is $50. Or whatever the established, money bet is. Whatever the money, whatever it is, right? But like, hey, not a big deal. But I'm a kind of a little gamble, man. You know what? I kind of want to take a gamble about 2028 is going to look like. Because I feel like no matter what, whether it's Kamala or Trump, I feel like Gabbard might run as a Republican in 2028. I'm willing to at least put money on that in itself, but I really want a specificity for that. Because I want a little extra challenge. It would be amazing, but unrealistic if Gabbard is actually playing a long game before the chess and wants to get elected as a Republican only to govern as a flaming socialist. Honestly, if that happens, you know what is actually weird? Paul Zigo has actually been, hypothetically, putting this idea that he doesn't think it's going to really happen, but he thinks it's at least somewhat plausible. And hear me out a little bit. A party switch where the Republicans, some people in the Republican Party switch to the right only to become kind of leftist and be like, yeah, we're pro workers' rights, but we're still somewhat anti-government a little bit, blah, blah, blah. But, we're also pro queer people and stuff now and shit like that. Like, he's kind of thinking not immediately, but he thinks that they're, in the next 15, 20, 30 years and shit like that, there could be a potential party switch. And what if Tulsi, dude, yeah, you might be onto something. What if Tulsi Gabbard is trying to do some 4D chess maneuver where she's like, I'm going to run as a Republican, kind of galvanize and, whip up, the blue collar, conservative, Republican voting working class a little bit. But once I'm elected, I galvanize the progressives and some of that blue collar vote and shit. So you might be onto something, dude. And if Paul is kind of correct about the whole hypothetical party switch idea, which honestly I feel like is far fetched. I don't completely agree with his hypothetical about that. But tied in with this idea, though, I think there might be a genuine possibility, dude. Because what if? Because that'd be kind of fucking wild, dude. And that might genuinely create a party switch. A lot of progressive lefty types will just suddenly immediately switch to Republican just to vote for Tulsi and maybe start running in local midterm elections. Oh, dude, I mean, it could create a foundation to where it can fundamentally create a party switch where a lot of leftists out of nowhere can start, I mean, that could generally be like weirdly enough an advantage that lefties and progressives and like union types and shit like to where they can galvanize, on that front. Because like a lot of Republican votes are gonna be in like rural areas and shit, but with every rural area, there's always usually like kind of a more tiny little like blue bubble, like Milwaukee for Clackamas County, for example, right? At least where I live. So it is a what if kind of thing, like because it's. I mean, I think close primary states, are not as likely to be able to galvanize and maximize on a switch, but in open primary states, ooh, I think it might help establish it, in a way, to where it might go somewhere. Because it happened once already. Republicans and Democrats had a party switch back in the 60s and 70s ish about that time. So it's like, it's not like, it can't happen again. Who knows? Maybe that'll help create like a third party too, a little bit. Kind of help galvanize, an expansion of like a multi-party system a little bit, because it'll shake up the system enough to where it might create a necessity, kind of a vacuum for that. I mean, it's optimistic, hella dreamful, wishful thinking, but dude, I mean, what if, man? That'd be fucking wild, and it'd be pretty fucking dope. And I think there'd be, I honestly think, weirdly enough, it wouldn't be like the best case scenario, I think, in the long term, but I think that would be one of the better scenarios, I think, weirdly enough. Short term, it'd be a little wild and chaotic as fuck, but I think in the long term, I think it might be okay. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Like, that's something I'm kind of willing to, put some chips on. I'm willing to put some chips down on that. I just don't think Gabbard is like a leftist still, unfortunately. I mean, I just don't think she would be a flaming socialist. So, as much as this is wishful thinking, it's. I just don't think it would be a thing. The holy fuck. That timeline, though, would be wild for sure. Oops. It'd be pretty, intense as fuck. But I think it'd be, in long term, pretty good. Weird shit has happened. I mean, dude, oh my god, you're fucking right. Yeah, weird shit has happened, man. Dude, our timeline is wild, bro. I'm just glad that I dunked my head in that fucking water because, like, because I need the rejuvenation because, like, holy shit, bro. The shit about like American politics is just like to the point where it's like idiocracy almost really enough would be preferable, because I feel like someone like me could easily just like whip myself up to the top so quick, and actually be like a fucking like Jesus Christ, like God to these people. You know what I mean? Like I could be like fucking Camacho and shit, but actually intelligent and actually smart. And galvanize people and actually like lead them the way. Oof. Oh, and stretching muscles and popping shit. Oh, whoa! I feel like I just went for a roller coaster. Stretching myself to the point that I just gave me like a little. Oh, that felt so good. Dude, after the hiking and the fucking ball game that we're playing and dip myself in the ocean and all that shit, like I'm feeling it, but dude, stretching and all that feels so goddamn good. God, it feels so good. Man, I feel so. I can't even get over it. I feel genuinely so rejuvenated, just even for that little day on the coast. I would say if it was like we're spending the night up there, I would say that we can, like have a little campfire on the, beach. But I was like, I knew that wasn't going to be a thing, and none of us brought tents and shit. So I was like, I knew it was going to happen. And I don't think any of us were going to want to have a hotel. Because, like, weirdly enough, I was, like, kind of tripping to the point where I was even willing to take a night dive. But everyone else, especially Harley, I think, was just like, nah, I'm good. I want to go to bed. I want to go home. Because I'm still kind of feeling the camping itch, but I might just do that on my own time. Maybe I can, maybe I can plan something out with that. I'll have to, I'll see. I might be able to actually plan something with that, at least on my own time. I don't know if you would be able to, unfortunately, Rip, because, I mean, with my schedule of how it is, but I kind of want to at least do like a one-night camping trip a little bit, but because I'm still feeling that itch, but the main itch about, like, going to the beach and shit, is satisfying and all that, but, I want to satisfy the camping itch, though, even if it's for just one night. I'm thinking about it. I think I might be able to pull it off, but I know I won't be able to follow the homeboys and shit. If so, I might be able to bring one of you guys, maybe. Maybe Harley, maybe Tyler, maybe. It's like I'm able to bring somebody, but I'll have to figure it out. Because I have someone I could bring at least, for a camping trip, but if we do it, we'll just have to at least find a decent little spot, at least for walkability and shit. But beyond that, I think it might be all right. Busy 2 months coming up. But it'd be cool for rafting and camping. Yeah, that would. Yeah, because it's been years since I've been to Bend. Like, it's been fucking forever. So, I mean, I don't know if there is a you and Tyler camping at Clackamas and Tyler's cargo bike with the rear seat. I mean, that is honestly something I'd be down with, even if it's like not in the middle of the fucking mountains or wherever the fuck. I mean, even if it's a little bit more closer to home, I don't give a shit. Honestly, I know you're kind of joking a little bit, but that would work for me too. If it's at least, hidden away enough from civilization. Though, granted, I probably prefer like Bend or like, the mountains or something. So, I don't know. I'm not going to solidify on that completely because, I mean, at the end of the day, I might not even really have an opportunity for that. But at least, kind of keep an open air about it. Because who knows? Maybe I might be able to squeeze it in before everything for the summer all ends and shit. Oh, what the fuck? Hiccups. Jesus. Okay, there we go. Jesus. Fucking hell, man. Boom. What time is it? Oh, really? It's only 2 a.m.? Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was like 3:30 in the morning or some shit. But, yeah, not that late. But you know what? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Ugh. But You know what? I am feeling a little hungry. And I bought myself some bratwursts. Because unfortunately I cannot indulge in those sausages because Logan took all of them. But I bought my own. So I'm going to smack down on those bad boys. It's going to be dank and delicious. So anyway, let's call it for that. And plus, still kind of need to take a shower. I just said fucking and didn't do that last night. But I'll at least do that tonight because I definitely need it. So anyway, I'm going to base that for now and all that fun shit. And I'll probably have a little coffee stream for an hour over here. Maybe on Instagram Live. See how, maybe Venom feels about that. But either one or the other. I'll see y'all then. All that shit. So toodaloo.